American Comics, Psychiatrist, Cut Who Wanda Gwen. Author, Simple One. 351. Jokerz siege after another. Harley Quinn. After Harley Quinn left, Su-Yi and the others also left in a hurry. Wanda and Gwen act alongside Su-Yi. They couldn't help looking at Su-Yi one after another, really worried. Did everything they did before embarrass Su-Yi? Are they a little self-assertive? Wanda lowered her eyes slightly. She was the one who made the first move just now. And just when she was a little lonely, suddenly they were attacked. Wanda's eyes froze almost immediately. The Scarlet ability of Origin Magic Power shot the person who was attacking towards them all at once. It was a man in Joker costume with messy makeup. However, it is not the real Joker who once looked for Su-Yi. It's just some shoddy imitations. And then no matter where they go, they will be attacked one after another. Supposed to be someone from the Joker's faction. Are they trying to deal with us? Why? Gwen is very puzzled by this point. Logically speaking, there is no conflict between them. Joker seemed to have thought about recruiting Su-Yi before. Why did he suddenly attack them? This kind of thing doesn't know what's going on at all. So just call someone over and ask. Facing the void in the air, he grasped it. Above the tall building, a man suddenly appeared from the top of the building to the downstairs out of thin air, and was grabbed by Su-Yi's neck fiercely. Such a sudden scene made the man with the strange makeup on his face sweat profusely, making that ugly face even more ugly now. You know what? If I squeeze it lightly, you'll die right away. Su-Yi's tone was very flat, even with a smile on his face. But it was such an attitude that made the man even more frightened. His body trembled. Su-Yi and his party soon smelled an unpleasant smell. Su-Yi threw the man away with some disgust. Gwen raised her hand to cover her nose. What's the matter with this guy? Can he still join Joker with his little psychological quality? Who knows why this is so? Wanda frowned, hesitated for a while, and finally took a few steps forward, and stepped on the man. Tell me why you appeared here, and why you and your compatriots attacked us. We don't know. Lord Harley asked us to kill you. They originally thought that this was a very easy task to complete, but they didn't expect that it was obviously kicking the iron plate. These three were opponents they could not defeat. Hearing that it was Harley Quinn who gave the order, the three of Su-Yi were even more puzzled. Harley Quinn should know that the abilities of the three of them are not simple. If these people really attacked them, they would just seek their own death and come to their door to die on their own initiative. The more I think about it, the more I don't understand it. With a light pinch of Su-Yi's fingers, the man who was trying to attack suddenly broke his neck and fell to the ground without moving. I thought you wouldn't do it. I won't do it lightly, but this kind of initiative is sent to the door, and the malicious intentions don't know what it is for. Apart from death to let them rest in peace, there is nothing that can calm them down. Su-Yi's tone was indifferent, and he knew that these people who came to look for them were just small people. Just like this one after another, they hurt little Luo a lot. Some of these people have messy makeup, and some look very ordinary. Even the youngest is only 13 or 14 years old. As soon as they passed by the side of their road, the sharp dagger almost cut Gwen's arm standing on the far left. If Gwen hadn't quickly used the cobweb to block his arm, I'm afraid this time he would really be injured by a small force. We're not going to be a thorn in the side of everyone in Gotham City, just rejecting Harley Quinn. Wanda spoke harshly. Su-Yi smiled and didn't care too much. It's hard to reason with a lunatic. During this time, at least I understood one thing, that is, Harley Quinn and we are not on the same side. Just like what Batman Bruce Wayne said to me the same, we are not all the way. It is a truth. Wanda and Gwen nodded. They're not all the way to this thing originally, that's it. Harley Quinn is not clean at all. Those who tried to hurt them, some with weapons and some with abilities, but they still didn't have any effect. It's fine if the three of Su-Yi don't make a move, but when Sun makes a move, they are almost invincible. Although in the DC world, maybe their abilities are not the strongest, but these people only include Gwen and Wanda. As for Su-Yi, even if they are people close to Su-Yi, they don't know the extent of Su-Yi's ability, because Su-Yi exists at every point in time. Even if Su-Yi becomes stronger at just one point in time, the Su-Yi in this world will also become stronger accordingly. The Scarlet Origin Magic Power is constantly moving on the street, extremely precise and controlled by Wanda. She stood at the forefront, blocking all enemy attacks. These people don't need three people to fight together, so Wanda took the initiative to put this matter on herself. She wants to make these people regret it, regret to lay hands on them. In this way, we walked 370 all the way, and soon, Wanda cleared a large area of people. The streets are empty now, except for Su-Yi, Wanda, and Gwen. There are only those little Luo and some guys who want to fish out of troubled waters. The sound of sirens quickly surrounded this area. They were all stunned when they found out it was Su-Yi, Wanda and Gwen. Director Gordon looked at the three of them with a very complicated look. What's going on with you? Someone called the police and said that you are killing people indiscriminately on the street. Father, what does it mean to kill indiscriminately? You have to see exactly what's going on before you say this. Barbara got off from another police car, and when she saw Su-Yi and the three of them, she was also very nervous. But when she saw the wounded and killed people on the ground, her expression changed instantly, and she even became a little disgusted. These guys seem to be either gangsters or Joker's people. Yi, Gwen and Wang University has nothing to do with these people. They killed people, Director Gordon said. Doesn't killing people happen every day in Gotham City? They kill bad people. Could it be that they can't even resist, so they have to stand here and be hurt? Dad, when did you become like this? People? Barbara yelled at Commissioner Gordon loudly. 352. Commissioner Gordon should have gone crazy by now. Director Gordon obviously didn't expect his daughter to have such a big reaction, and he didn't expect that she didn't even give him any face under the eyes of everyone. Am I the director or you are the director? The three of them have killed so many people in Gotham City. I must give the residents an explanation. Director Gordon spoke very seriously, and at the same time his eyes flashed with determination. Obviously, what Barbara said had no effect on him. I can't do anything to the Jokerz people. I can't do anything to those gangsters, so I just find fault with Yi and the common people. Barbara stood directly in front of Yi, Gwen and Wanda. Her eyes were equally firm. The father and daughter stood directly on the opposite side, and neither of them accepted the other. Yi, who was protected by Barbara, didn't know how to react for a while. In short, his eyes were complicated, extremely complicated. Barbara, we didn't do anything wrong. Even the police can't do anything to us. Gwen stepped forward, raised her hand and patted Barbara on the shoulder. When Barbara looked in her direction, she immediately showed a big smile. Gwen's smile managed to calm Barbara down. She wasn't confronting Director Gordon anymore, but she didn't give him a good face either. I believe justice will not be on your side. After saying such a sentence to her father, Director Gordon, Barbara did not continue to block, and directly moved out of the way. Suddenly, a burst of bullets swept over directly. A group of police officers on the far right suffered first. Director Gordon's face was very ugly. He just wanted to take Yi and his party to the police station, but he didn't expect that those who seemed to be chasing and killing Yi went after him again. Even involved them. Watching his subordinates die in front of him one after another, painful memories swept over in an instant. He no longer knew how many times he saw his subordinates die in front of him one by one. And all these have something to do with Joker. The anger in my heart almost immediately buried the whole person. He kept shooting in the direction of the enemy, eyes are red. Even when he got to the back, he didn't hide or evade, and walked out of the cover directly. Seeing her father's deadly appearance, Barbara instantly turned pale with fright. Dad, are you crazy? She couldn't help shouting at Commissioner Gordon. Perhaps I am indeed mad, or rather I should have gone mad sooner. Director Gordon couldn't help thinking this in his heart. He thought about it in his heart, but he didn't answer Barbara's words, and even ignored her cry at all. Suddenly, he felt his shoulder being grasped forcefully, a burst of pain, followed by dizziness. When he saw clearly what was going on, he stared at Yi beside him in a daze. What have you done? Did not do anything. Yi didn't say it too clearly, but just said the sentence in a very flat tone. However, although Yi said so, Director Gordon was not blind. After the brain's thoughts came back, he immediately knew that the other party had saved him. You saved me. When he said this, Gordon's tone was very affirmative. However, Yi didn't say much about this matter. Commissioner Gordon gritted his teeth. At this time, Barbara had already rushed over. He grabbed Gordon's shoulders with both hands and shook them vigorously. Father, you are very old, so don't let me worry about it. Dad definitely didn't know how flustered he was just now. Even if she and Dad would have disputes over some things, she never wanted him to die. Even thinking of such a thing happening, she was still vaguely worried and afraid. But the other party who was thinking in his heart didn't understand at all. Really angry and sad. The gunshots followed one after another, and it seemed that they would not stop at all. Yi used his mental power to feel how many people were attacking now. There is a sniper shooter on the tall building on the left. There is also one on the right. On the nearby floors, there are submachine gunners in the relatively close position, from 10 meters to 10 meters. Some people even prepared to throw mines in this direction. Yi couldn't help sighing when he realized this. Probably because they know that their abilities are not ordinary, so these people don't get close at all. At the same time, Yi also noticed that they would change positions quickly every once in a while. It is estimated that it is for them to quickly find out the opponent's position. However, if Yi wanted to catch someone, no matter how much the other party tried to hide, it would be of no use, even if it was the ends of the earth. I'll go over there to check the situation. Gwen was not wearing combat uniform. Yi can't trust her to act alone. Gwen could feel Yi's worry. She quickly got into a car on the side of the road, and when she got out, she was dressed in a spider battlesuit. In the original Marvel world, it was very convenient to be able to use the reduced time particles of the battlesuit for some trivial things around us. Gwen has been using it all the time, but after arriving in this world, she seldom transforms, and she always dresses like an ordinary person in normal times. Now, it is the first time for her to put on a combat uniform in the DC world. Feeling a little excited, seeing that Gwen had already put on his combat uniform, this time Yi had no intention of stopping him. Sometimes, only by fighting constantly can we make progress little by little. Through Yi passing some information to Gwen, Gwen quickly found the few hiding figures. To be kind to your enemies is to be cruel to yourself. Gwen didn't have any hesitation in his eyes, and set off directly, throwing, how. The snipers on the tall building towards the downstairs. In Arkham, they didn't do it at any time before. They have never made such a deadly move. This does not mean that they are afraid or unwilling to do it. Just because those guys didn't really threaten their lives, and they didn't mess around, so they naturally didn't take it too seriously. But it's different now. Gwen's eyes were very sharp at this moment. After eliminating the snipers on the tall buildings, she directly jumped down from dozens of stories of tall buildings. Seeing that it was about to reach the ground, Cobweb almost immediately pulled out the tall buildings next to it. She came back directly to Suyi at a very fast and very steady speed. Vertical bar. I've got rid of all the snipers. Gwen spoke in a positive tone. Suyi nodded. 353. Fleeing without fighting, such subordinates don't need. After Gwen finished this, she took a breath and noticed that Wanda was no longer there. The dense artillery fire that appeared nearby has now disappeared without a trace. After noticing this, Gwen knew that the person who attacked them with a submachine gun a few meters away should have been dealt with by Wanda. Wanda hasn't come back yet. Do you need me to solve it? Gwen is very worried that something bad will happen to Wanda. So he shook his head. Barbara is helping out. Wanda's affairs are left to the two of them. They should be dealt with soon. Don't worry. Although they are only facing some ordinary people are actually not very weak, and sometimes they can really hurt them because of their cunning. Underestimating the enemy is the worst thing in this world. Gwen knew this. She also believed that Wanda and Barbara knew this too. Worrying is worrying, but after thinking about it, I feel relieved. Nothing should happen, so don't worry about it, and don't go over to see the situation. Over there, Wanda and Barbara were hunting the fleeing guys between the floors. How arrogant they were just now, how embarrassed they are now. Although these geese made meaningless threats when they fled, the fear in their eyes was also obvious. They are afraid of death. After all, they are somewhat different from those madmen who are not afraid of death in the true sense. The reason why they join Jokerz, or even mix at the bottom, is because they feel that doing so is arrogant enough, and doing so is enough to scare others. Just as they were running away, Harley Quinn suddenly came over with a submachine gun. Fleeing without fighting, I don't dare to have such a subordinate. Originally, those who fled thought they were rescued, but they didn't expect that instead of dying at the hands of the enemy, they died at the hands of their own superiors. Those pairs of eyes widened, completely in a state of unrepentant death. Both Wanda and Barbara stopped in their tracks. But at the moment Harley Quinn suddenly dropped the gun in his hand and raised his hands high. I surrender. I don't want to be your enemy. After all, I can't beat you at all. Harley Quinn grinned. Wanda couldn't help frowning at this look. For geese without any attack ability, neither Wanda nor Barbara can kill them. FFLX. What should I do now? This guy is Joker's right-hand man. Hand her over to the police. Barbara knew how high Harley Quinn was in all of Gotham, and even in the Jokerz. If she is really caught, maybe a lot of news can be learned from her mouth. After all, not long ago, the captured Joker escaped. The more Barbara thought about it, the more it seemed to be the case. Even his brows and eyes relaxed. She stepped forward vigilantly, and then used the shackles, turning Harley Quinn's hands on the back, directly handcuffing her. The previous vigilance obviously had no effect, because after Barbara finished everything, Harley Quinn didn't struggle. It's extremely peaceful, which makes people even more worried. Suyi and the others were on the street, waiting for the news from Yamato and Barbara. But he didn't expect that they would come back half an hour later, together with them, and the captured Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn saw that Suyi's smile became even brighter. Oh, we meet again. Did the meeting gift I just gave you make you happy? There are also many bodies of Harley Quinn's men in the street. Why do you do this? Obviously you should know that if we confront these people, we will definitely die, Suyi said lightly. Although he can speculate on some thoughts of Harley Quinn, Suyi doesn't want to use the thoughts of a madman to consider some issues. Why do I want to be like this? Don't you know? BJFC, I said it was a gift for you. Since you don't like the dark side of Gotham City, then I will give you part of the darkness. These guys have more or less lives in their hands, and now I give their lives to you. Aren't you happy? Harley Quinn laughed even more wildly as she spoke. What a madman. Barbara spoke coldly beside Harley Quinn. Director Gordon's face is not good either. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't hit women, he probably couldn't resist clenching his fist and punching Harley Quinn by now. Harley Quinn's men killed all of his men because of a mere gift. Up to now, the body is still lying quietly on the ground. These people have families, and they are all extremely kind, and at the same time they admire and respect him very much. But now that these people have all died, Director Gordon doesn't know what to do at this moment. Dad, let's take him back to the police station first. Barbara tied him up and stuffed him into a police car. At this moment, Director Gordon had already forgotten what he wanted to do in the first place. He called and asked someone to clean up the streets here, and at the same time collected all the corpses under his command. Suyi, Gwen and Wanda separated from them. Walked down the street. They went to bars, to amusement parks, to the beach, and even went to the movies together. When I came back, I passed this street again, and found that the place had returned to its usual bustle. What happened here didn't seem to have any effect on them. This is Gotham City, a place where, no matter what happens, One does not have too much thought. Is there any possibility of saving the city? Su-yi thought. Not so sure about this. Su, what are you thinking? Is it because you don't worry about what happened during the day? Wanda tilted her head to look at Su-yi and asked in a low voice. That's pretty normal stuff in this city and I have nothing to worry about. When Su-yi said this, his tone was almost cold. He didn't take it seriously at all, and he didn't care about it at all. People are destined to die, but the difference between early death and late death is the only difference. What a psychiatrist is best at is not adjusting the hearts of others, but controlling his own. He was able to get to this point because his mind was clear enough to not be affected too much. That's it. After going back, Su-yi poured himself a glass of water in the kitchen, and Luthor Gwen hugged him from behind. What the hell happened today? Su-yi can feel that Gwen's state today has been very wrong. Wanda and I will occasionally travel together in Gotham City. Although many places in Gotham City are dark, there are still people who live seriously here. 354. Director Gordon's troubles. Gwen lowered her head, with some subtle emotions in her voice. The lives of these people living in Gotham City are not guaranteed at all, and their lives are threatened. I know I can't ask you, but at least don't stay with a dangerous person like Harley Quinn anymore. I can't treat her sincerely. Hearing what Gwen said, Su-yi basically knew what the other party was thinking right now. He patted Gwen's hands encircling him, signaling Shifang to let go. Immediately afterwards, he turned around and hugged the other party directly into his arms. Although the warm embrace is very familiar, Gwen still feels very at ease being hugged like this. I know what I'm doing, and I know what I can do and what I can't do. If Harley Quinn represents the abyss, then I will only pull him up, and I will not lower myself. That's a madman. Yeah, it's because I'm a lunatic, so I won't pull the other party up, but let her stay in the abyss. There are many lives on her body. Just what happened today also shows that people who are not with us. I thought you liked him. Emotions are something that can be controlled. When facing you and Wanda, I keep my heart open. But when facing other people, my heart is always closed. Then a little liking will not make me violate my principles. But it is also because I am a psychiatrist, Bruce Wayne and Joker. I can't stand for any of them, because I am not on the same side with them. When Su-yi said this, his tone paused. Can you understand what I said? Gwen nodded. This night, it seemed that in order to completely reassure Gwen, Su-yi stayed with her all the time. And Wanda went to the guest room very naturally. She was a little tired today, and she wanted to have a good rest instead of messing around like Gwen. On the streets of Gotham City, dozens of corpses lay quietly on the ground. Although they seemed to have no effect, there was still a series of reports on this in the news reports. At the same time, this matter was quickly posted on the internet. I don't know who posted these pictures on the internet. The scene in the video, the corpses one after another, there are policemen and gangsters. People can't help being angry just looking at it. Gotham City is already in such a state of chaos. To actually kill people on the street, is this with the police? Did they assume the rest of Gotham wasn't there? Have they thought about how the general population will be affected? They don't know at all. How could they know? If they knew, would such a thing happen? When watching the news, even turning on the mobile phone, as long as it is online, you can see all the reprimands of some netizens against Gotham City. Director Gordon's inaction caused Gotham City to fall into chaos, and many people even asked the country to strictly manage Gotham City. However, there are not a few similar incidents in Gotham City, and even a large number of people died in several Joker incidents. But even so, Director Gordon of Gotham City still holds the position of director. Not because of his management, but because no one is willing to accept the mess of Gotham City. Director Gordon received a call from the leader above, who reprimanded him on the other end of the phone. However, when Director Gordon resigned on his own initiative, it was no surprise that he received a beeping sound from the phone hanging up. No matter how nice these leaders say, no one in Gotham City is willing to take over. Director Gordon is very troubled. He has lived to this age, but he doesn't know how to deal with some things at all, and he feels very confused. Maybe we can go ask Su-yi. Barbara said so suddenly to Commissioner Gordon. Director Gordon frowned. What to ask? Even if you really ask, Su-yi will definitely not answer seriously. Moreover, he is a bureau chief, and it is obviously his own business, yet he asks a psychiatrist. What advice can a psychiatrist offer? Director Gordon was full of doubts about everything about Su-yi, and even felt that Barbara made a very bad suggestion at this time, so he pushed Barbara's head close. Okay, you don't lost my mind here. Asking for flowers. Barbara clearly felt that her idea was very good, and she didn't mean to mess around at all. Why didn't her father believe that she was serious? Seeing that Director Gordon was still unmoved, Barbara only said this. Anyway, I have already put forward my opinion, whether you believe it or not, and whether you are willing to do it or not is your own business. After speaking, Barbara turned and left. Now the police station is a mess, and there are still many things waiting for her to arrange. After Barbara left, the expression on Director Gordon's face changed slightly at this time. However, although there have been changes, there is still no determination in my heart. Fortunately, tomorrow is Su-yi's working time, so he still has enough time to think about this problem. Did you really do what Barbara said? No one knows about Director Gordon's deep entanglements. Now the police station is in a mess, and many positions are now short of manpower. Under such circumstances, if the director does not do something himself, I am afraid that he will not be able to convince the public. Those who will be transferred to this police station will also feel fear and anxiety. After all, people who work in Gotham City have the highest personal injuries in all cities, not to mention the leaders above. Even some ordinary policemen are not willing to work in Gotham City at all. It would be much better if the police could be recruited directly within Gotham City, but the possibility of this is still not very high. Thinking of this, Director Gordon felt a headache. I tossed and turned when I went to sleep at night, and couldn't fall asleep no matter what. He almost kept his eyes open until dawn, and as soon as it dawned, it was almost time, so he picked up his coat and went out. Looking at the back of her father leaving, Barbara immediately knew where he was going. HMPH, you're still pretending with me, don't you still want to go in the end? Barbara couldn't help laughing, and hoped that after Dad finished talking with Suyi, he would stop blaming himself and hope that he would calm down. Gotham City is not his responsibility alone. He doesn't have to worry to the point where he can't sleep at night. Barbara has such expectations, and she is completely serious. 355. If Joker is not resolved, it will only resurface. For Commissioner Gordon, some things have been pressing in his heart. His head is heavy, and it is extremely uncomfortable. He didn't know how much pain he had buried in his heart. At the beginning, I didn't have any feelings in this regard. But when he was sitting in Suyi's psychological consultation room, when he expressed his past pain, dissatisfaction, joy and other emotions, he softly felt what it means to be relaxed. He sat on the seat in a posture that was familiar to him, shook it slightly, and sighed softly. I don't know how long I will sit in this position. However, as long as I stay in the position of Director General for a day, I will definitely do my job well. Even in this position, what I do is actually not very good, but if I don't do anything, it's like this. If it's bad, 537, then Gotham City will only become more chaotic. Some people have said that the light of Gotham City may never come, but some people still hold out hope. If I give up, the world will only become darker. Definitely. Commissioner Gordon suddenly chuckled. This does not mean how important my status in Gotham City is. In fact, I just want to do something within my ability. After all, there are quite a few people who are secretly chasing me. Some of those people still have hope for Gotham City, while others wish to send Gotham City to hell immediately. The previous Jokers tried to drive out ordinary humans living in Gotham City, and shaped Gotham City into a completely dark world. How could such a thing be possible? Although darkness and light coexist, darkness is always like a mouse in the dark, unable to see the light, but the light can shine in the dark place and pull out the mice in the gutter one by one. When Director Gordon said these words, his tone was exceptionally firm. So you looked at each other, thinking, maybe that's how Bruce Wayne and Gordon are able to be friends. Definitely. They were originally friends with Harvey Dante, but Harvey Dante has long since parted ways with them. To be honest, in some ways, I and Harvey Dante are more suitable to be friends. Suyi was thinking about this almost casually. On the other side, after talking to him, Director Gordon seemed to feel very good and relaxed, and then he thought about his real purpose of coming here, so he asked cautiously, Dr. Sue, what do you think of a person like Joker? How should I arrest him, or directly let his group completely disintegrate? When the director said these words, he felt a little nervous. He was very worried that he would not get a satisfactory answer from Suyi's mouth. But he was very eager and wanted to know an answer. As a bureau chief, he went to a psychiatrist to find a solution. This kind of behavior is actually a bit ridiculous, but Director Gordon really has no choice. He must completely disintegrate Joker's power. Doing so is best for Gotham City as a whole. Suyi smiled and looked at Director Gordon. Director Gordon, do you want to completely dismantle the entire Joker group, or do you want to disintegrate the entire dark force in Gotham City? Director Gordon frowned. What is the difference between the two? Aren't they both the same? Same? How could it be the same? The former is relatively easy to complete, but the latter is almost impossible to achieve. Even Suyi himself can't claim to make this world a dark place. As long as there is desire in the human heart, then darkness will be everywhere. It depends on whether you can control your heart. Director Gordon, please think carefully about what I said. Suyi smiled at Chief Gordon as he spoke. Commissioner Gordon thought about it calmly. At the beginning, he didn't understand what Suyi meant by these words, but gradually he felt that he seemed to understand a little bit. I understand that people's hearts are hard to control, not to mention Gotham City. Just outside other cities, the number of people killed by criminals every year is astonishing, and it will never decrease. What I want to do is actually very simple, step by step. Disintegrate the Joker group first. Director Gordon made a decision very quickly, and this decision was something he had been working hard on before. However, just now he was bluffed by Suyi's words, and for a moment he didn't know what his real thoughts were. If you want to completely disintegrate the Joker group, then first capture Joker, execute him in front of everyone, and then issue an order. That order is that anyone who is active in the city under the name of Joker, anyone who is involved, will be treated as a super criminal and sentenced to death. Only dead men can't make trouble. If it is only locked in prison, escaping is only a matter of time. This kind of behavior is very inhumane, and I can't do it. Those criminals don't care about humanity and inhumanity with you. They must be dealt with strict criminal laws. Director Gordon, Gotham City is not yours alone. It requires the joint efforts of many people to deal with it. If you can't do it, then it can't be done. What I should say has already been said. This is countering violence with violence, Director Gordon said in a daze. So ye lets Chief Gordon speak like this. This country really has the so-called freedom engraved in its bones, and people don't know where to complain about it. In short, no matter what, Yi has already told the other party his method. As to whether the other party will believe it or follow it, this is not within the scope of his consideration. Commissioner Gordon left 1.9 with a thoughtful attitude. His expression was always very dignified. Yi rested her chin and looked at the back of him leaving. He knew that it was very difficult for Director Gordon to do. It is extremely difficult to even just pass the level led by him. If what he said can really pass, it is estimated that there will be a parade at that time, saying that they are inhumane. No matter what these people say on the internet, in reality, they have completely changed their faces. Yi understands human nature, so I never looked forward to it, because without expectations, naturally there is no disappointment. Not long after Director Gordon left, Gwen and Wangja came. 356. The situation in the police station. Definitely, they are not just two people, there is Barbara behind them. As soon as Barbara's eyes met with Yi's, she showed a big smile at Yi. When did you come? Yi asked lightly. Wanda felt funny when she said this. She pressed Barbara's shoulder. We just came here, but Barbara seems to have been here for a long time. She has been poking around outside. Yes, even we saw that Director Gordon had already left, but she didn't leave with her. Instead she stayed at the door. I think Barbara should deliberately follow behind Director Gordon, but mine is not Commissioner Gordon. Although Barbara thought that she was hiding well, she didn't expect to be exposed by someone directly, and the expression on her face immediately became a little embarrassed. But soon, that bit of embarrassment disappeared. She coughed twice. Wanda is right, I followed Dad all the way here, and what I want to ask happens to be related to him. So do we need to go away for a while? Wanda spoke. 19 also doesn't know why Barbara is looking for Yi. Is it a personal matter or something else? Think about it anyway. I always feel that they should leave temporarily and don't just listen to what the other party says. Barbara nodded slightly when she heard what Wanda said. What she wants to ask is what her father said here, and she believes that the family has the right to know. Family members do have the right to know about certain illnesses, but Yi is a psychologist, not those traditional doctors in the hospital. Yi can indeed tell Barbara one thing, but what he can tell is also very limited. While Barbara stared at him expectantly, he quickly organized his words in his brain. Then he said little by little what he could say to Barbara. Yi didn't say anything that Director Gordon once said to him about the tangled and painful things. There was only one thing he said. Director Gordon came to ask me how to deal with the Joker group. To be honest, he came to me and asked about this matter, which surprised me. I always felt that as a director, he should not ask such things. Yi speaking of this, I couldn't help but chuckled softly, and then said in a very affirmative tone, when he came to ask me about this matter, I was a little surprised, even puzzled, but now you appear in front of him. Suddenly I felt that I seemed to understand something. Did you ask him to come over? Barbara's face turned red all of a sudden, and there was obvious discomfort in her expression. Her fingers unconsciously grabbed the hem of her clothes. I just think Dad is in a dead end. Maybe it's better to think about the problem in another way. Sorry, if my behavior disturbs you, I will tell you apologize. Barbara apologized to Yi very seriously, but Yi didn't care too much about this matter at all. And he is just one more patient. Anyone can come to his psychological consultation room. In the past, he even specially selected patients he liked to treat, but now he thinks that people in Gotham City are very interesting. And this level of interest made it unnecessary for him to choose some patients deliberately, but just listening to them tell some stories in his heart is enough to make the whole day pass quickly. Asked what she wanted to know, so Barbara didn't continue to ask about this matter, but remembered another matter. Because of the incident on the street before, my father wanted to arrest you directly into the cell. When he came to you this time, he probably didn't mention this incident, right? Barbara is really worried that her father has been insisting on what he did offended Yi and didn't know. It is a very stupid thing to offend a person who is not an enemy and is very powerful. Barbara didn't want her father to go this far. He didn't mention anything about that day, and he seems to have forgotten it. If the other party brought up this matter, Yi probably wouldn't give him any advice, because Yi really doesn't like the kind of guy who can't distinguish the form and is self-righteous. Because of all my persistence, I will make friends around me. Unrelated people are caught in a dangerous situation. Hearing that what she was worried about did not happen, Barbara breathed a sigh of relief again, and the smile on her face became a lot more sincere. Is your police station okay now? Is Harley Quinn doing nothing else while in jail? Yi spoke suddenly, and immediately asked about the police station and Harley Quinn. This is not something that cannot be answered, but Su-yi did not ask Director Gordon, because if he really asked him, he would definitely think that he was planning some bad idea. Some people with a little bit of status always think a lot about a very ordinary thing, and Su-yi's identity doesn't stand on anyone's side at all. They are worried about Su-yi doing something bad, which is understandable, but Su-yi will never be happy about it. Fortunately, all the feared things never happened. 447. The situation in the police station is not very good. The staffing is still very small. The police stations in other cities can't transfer people to work in Gotham City. Dad has thought about recruiting some people in Gotham City, but in this case, it will be a little troublesome to screen. After all, no one knows whether these people are dangerous. Even if some people in Gotham City have very clean backgrounds and have never done anything bad in their lives, is it really as simple as it seems? Harley Quinn has always been very calm in the prison, staying obediently without making trouble. Although I don't know what she is planning, but overall it is okay. At least it didn't cause any chaos in the police station. Barbara actually only has a little spare time today, so she came here immediately, and now she has to go back to the police station to help her father deal with urgent matters. There are too few staff, and many things have to be done by herself. The situation in Gotham City is different from the situation in other cities, so have you thought about changing some of the practices of the Gotham City Police? Su-yi asked Barbara lightly, and at the same time made a bold suggestion. Changing police practices, and how? It's too dangerous for ordinary human beings to be policemen. Have you ever thought about letting ability people do the work of policemen? 357. Gotham City builds a small team of its own. What do you mean? Barbara looked almost confused at Su-yi. Instead of finding a way to bring the police from other cities, you might as well cooperate directly with some forces in Gotham City. Su-yi spoke slowly and made this suggestion. Barbara couldn't help laughing when she heard Su-yi say this. We have always done this in the past. We cooperated with people from the Justice League. Barbara kept talking these words, but she was interrupted by Su-yi directly in the middle of her speech. That's right, you did cooperate with the Justice League, and you've been doing this over the years, but what about the results? What do you think of the results? Should the Jokerz make mistakes or make mistakes? The darkness in Gotham City always every moment is born, never diminished. Under the circumstances, do you think the cooperation with the Justice League really helped? Su-yi's big talk was really too calm, so calm that Barbara felt that everything he said was correct. There was even an idea of doing what Su-yi said directly. This situation is really bad. It's also really disturbing. All of what you said is wrong. If you cooperate with other forces, it will be too dangerous, and the entire Gotham City will be plunged into a situation where there is no redemption. Barbara shook her head and declined. She stood up from her seat, and said to Su-yi, it's getting late, I should go back. Not long after Barbara left, Gwen and Wanda stood in front of Su-yi's table from left to right, and asked, Sue, we heard everything you and Barbara just said. What are you thinking about? Gwen and Wanda always knew what Su-yi was thinking about, but because he hadn't revealed it, they weren't so clear about the details. It is only a rough guess that what Su-yi did may have something to do with Gotham City originally and various forces in Gotham City. Do you think that both true and evil is a good word, Tilda? Su-yi didn't answer directly, but asked Wanda and Gwen suddenly. It's both good and evil. Everyone's understanding is different. If you take killing as an example, then killing a person is a wrong thing. But killing a bad person is a good thing. Then the murderer, is it a good guy or a bad guy? Wanda said very seriously. Everyone's answer is different because of the different living environment and the knowledge they have learned. I think the murderer did a good person and a good deed, but if this matter is put on Gwen for Barbara, they will only focus on the matter of killing, no matter what the reason is for the other party to kill. Gwen didn't say anything, but when Wanda said such a sentence, she nodded very vigorously, with a look of great agreement. Su-yi couldn't help laughing at them. So it's important to say that I am a person with 3 views. Although some objects are trained, Su-yi already has 2 girlfriends now, and she doesn't want to train an unimportant person who just has a crush. This statement is completely applicable to anyone, for example, Diana, who has not been in touch for a long time, Barbara, who insists on her own ideas, and Harley Quinn, who is crazy to the extreme and even dares to do anything. Su-yi stood up, and then walked directly to Wanda and Gwen, holding them tightly in her arms with both hands. The most important thing is that not only the 3 views must be similar, those people must put his position first, not just second or third. For Diana, the lives of the Justice League and other ordinary people are more important. For Harley Quinn, the Joker group and freedom are more important to her. For Barbara, the affairs of the police station, the Justice League, and even her father's affairs are what she worries about and are the most important. In fact, none of these were important, but it was just that Su-yi thought it was too troublesome. I want to build a small team. Su-yi suddenly smiled and said, me, you, plus a younger version of Clark Kent and Harvey Dent. When Su-yi said this, the smile on his face involuntarily became deeper. Gwen and Wanda didn't have any objection to Su-yi's proposal. They nodded immediately when they heard this. At the same time, They also discussed in a very low voice. After the discussion is over, I'm going to find a younger version of Clark Kent, Wanda said. Gwen said. Vertical bar I'm going to Harvey Dent. Yi didn't have any opinion on their division of labor, nodded and said very gently, just do as you arranged. The two left after saying these words to Yi, and took actions separately. The young version of Clark Kent was working at sea, but he had a dispute with his boss, beat him up, and was fired immediately. When Wanda came to him, he was very surprised. Sister, why did you come to me suddenly? Did brother come with you? While talking about Clark Kent, he constantly looked at Wanda's side, but he didn't see that familiar figure, which made him very disappointed. He hasn't seen Yi for a while, and he really misses this elder brother who watched him grow up. Besides his parents, Yi is the most important parent to him. Wanda actually knew what kind of team Yi wanted to form synthesis, so when she was asked to bring the young version of Wang Lei Kent, she was actually a little puzzled. Clark, if Sue asked you to kill someone, would you do so? Wanda didn't ask Yi, but when facing Clark Kent, she couldn't help but open her mouth. Clark Kent didn't expect that Wanda would ask himself such a question, and he was very surprised. Seeing Wanda's very serious appearance, she also answered seriously, if there is no brother, I am afraid that I would have lost my father by now, and my mother will also die in a few years because of excessive grief. For me, brother is my reborn parents. He and my parents are equally important to me. If he asks me to kill someone, I will kill him, as long as he says a word. But, what I want more is the people I kill are all bad guys. Definitely, if the person to be killed must be a good person, he will still do it. 358. United Nations press conference. Without Yi, he might be in a mess now. Wanda froze for a moment. At this moment, he suddenly understood why Yi was willing to let a young version of Clark Kent join his small team. A person who regards Yi's actions as the most correct decision, without even thinking about rebelling at all, is always much easier to control than the rest. Fortunately, the younger version of Clark Kent met Yi. Even if Yi really wanted Clark Kent to do something, he probably wouldn't ask too much. Wanda looked at Clark Kent in front of her, and couldn't help thinking, since you already have such a determination in your heart, then come with me next. Wanda didn't beat around the bush either, but said directly to Clark Kent. Clark Kent didn't have any hesitation, went home and talked to his parents, packed his things, and left with Wanda. When she went back, she found that Harvey Dante was already sitting at home. The other half of the ruined face at the moment was covered by a mask, leaving only the handsome half of the face. Gotham City will be very chaotic in the future, and there will be many places that we need to take action. Yi opened his mouth slowly. Brother, why are you so sure that something bad will happen to Gotham City? For this 247 points, the young version of Clark Kent is very curious. Because the people of the Joker group are doing some bad things, although they are targeting people from the Justice League, it is hard for Gotham City not to suffer. What Yi said seemed to be a very serious matter, but there was no trace of worry on his face, as if he just said something casually. Just said something that wasn't serious. The lives of my subordinates have accumulated a lot during this period, including those from the Joker group. When it comes to murder, Harvey Dante has no intention of covering up. After all, since the other party recruited him into this small team, he didn't mean to refuse, so he felt that these people needed to know what he had done before. If they can't accept it, then it means that they are not all the way. However, when Harvey Dante said this, except for Clark Kent, who looked much younger, the expressions of the others were very natural, and there seemed to be no dissatisfaction or other emotions. Actually, I wanted to, say it before. Although I killed a lot of bad guys, I also killed my only wife. Even so, don't you care? It is very easy to criticize the killing of one's most beloved wife. You did something wrong in this matter, but you can use the next time to atone for what you did before. Yi said slowly, not taking what Harvey Dante said seriously at all. Harvey Dante swiped back and forth on Yi's face constantly, just to see if he meant what he said. Doesn't look like anything special, but I'm not lying. Before Harvey Dante came here, he was still a little nervous, but now he gradually calmed down. Is there really no plan for the future? If we really want to arrange it, we will contact you at any time. Yi opened his mouth slowly, and at the same time said, I can arrange a fixed and very complete place for you to live in. You don't need to worry about what bad things will happen next, and you don't have to worry about other things at all. People will find you. Yi was very calm when he said this. Harvey Dante originally wanted to say that there was no need to do this at all, but he also remembered that he had been really uneasy during this period of time, and after hesitation for a while, okay, I will leave the place of residence to you. The younger version of Clark Kent pointed to his nose. Brother, where do I live? I will also arrange a place for you to live in, so that you can live comfortably. Seeing the look of anticipation in the young version of Clark Kent, Yi knew that the other party definitely wanted to live with her. But Yi lives between her own woman and doesn't want to be disturbed by outsiders, especially men. Although Yi knows that the younger version of Clark Kent will have no bad intentions, but there will always be inconvenient times. From the very beginning, Yi had no intention of arranging for Clark Kent to live with them. If possible, just let him live for a day or two. But obviously, this is obviously not a day or two, but a long period of time in Gotham City, and the atmosphere in Gotham City is very tense right now. Because until now, Joker has still not been captured. Clark Kent has not been heard from after staying here for a few days. Without Yi's order, he finally couldn't bear it anymore, so he ran to the psychological consultation room. "What are you doing here?" Yi looked at Clark Kent and couldn't help raising his eyebrows. "The time spent at home is really boring, and I don't know what to do." "By the way, brother, can I watch TV here?" Clark Kent raised his hand high and showed a big smile at Yi at the same time. Yi was speechless for a while, and ran over to look for herself, but it turned out that it was just to watch TV. It seems that staying in Gotham City for the past few days has indeed made Clark Kent a little impatient. Yi didn't think too much, just nodded his head. "Since you want to watch TV now, then watch TV. Anyway, Clark Kent staying here has no effect on him." When Clark Kent heard what Yi said, he immediately cheered up. Even the atmosphere on Zoo could deeply feel this. He turned on the TV, and flipped through one channel after another, but found nothing to watch. "Here's the news." And after changing the channel, it's news again. Clark Kent stopped the channel, and frowned uncontrollably when he heard what was said in the channel. "There seems to be a big movement in Gotham City." "What's going on? Why do you always feel that something is wrong?" After Clark Kent raised this point, he found that there seemed to be something he didn't understand, so he stared at the TV for a while, and then he turned his gaze to Yi, who was not far away. He can't understand these things, but Yi can definitely understand them. Thinking of this, he yelled directly in Yi's direction, "Brother, the TV said that the United Nations is currently holding a press conference." 359. Action against the League of Justice. "Yeah?" When Yi heard this, the expression on his face was somewhat disapproving. "To be more precise, I don't care at all." Clark looked at Yi's indifferent look, and hurriedly glanced at what the United Nations was saying on TV, then deliberately amplified his voice, and ran to Yi to respond to him. "Brother, now the United Nations, some people seem to plan to liquidate some forces in Gotham City, and they also plan to take action against the Justice League." Clark Kent had been to the Justice League in the past, and for those people in the Justice League, his opinion is that the other party is some very good people, and they are the existence of justice. Thinking of them being targeted by the people of the United Nations, Clark Kent's face suddenly showed great dissatisfaction. "They actually want to deal with the people of the Justice League? Are these guys crazy?" In Gotham City, there are good people, bad people, ordinary people, and people with abilities. Once the sweeping activities are launched, some irreversible things will inevitably happen. Clark Kent suddenly becomes tense when he thinks of what may happen next. Suddenly an older version of Clark Kent appeared on TV. He even saw the older version of Clark Kent appearing at the UN press conference in a very arrogant manner. The young version of Clark Kent is sitting in front of the TV. His face is full of worries at the moment. He is not worried about what the older version of Clark Kent will do, but he is very afraid of involving his adoptive parents because of the other party's relationship. Originally, the adoptive parents didn't know the existence of the older version of Clark Kent, but the other party deliberately revealed his existence, which was accepted by the adoptive parents, but now he did this, clearly putting the adoptive parents in danger. Adoptive parents are their weakness, which can be easily exploited and dealt with. Does this guy know that everything he says and does affects Mom and Dad? The young version of Clark Kent patted his thigh, and then said anxiously to Yi, who was reading a book at the desk, "Brother, look at what that guy is doing. You definitely want to help you bring your uncle and aunt to this city. Didn't I arrange a place for you to live in? You can stay here for a while." "Brother, did you expect such a thing to happen a long time ago, so you didn't let me live with you, but arranged another place for us to live?" The young version of Clark Kent has already confirmed this point, and he didn't even want to confirm something from Yi's mouth. He said in a dissatisfied tone, "Brother Lian, you can understand things. Why can't he see them come out?" "Maybe it's because I only think about my own affairs from the beginning to the end, but I don't think about my parents' affairs, or is it something else?" Yi said these lazily, but these directly hit the young version of Clark Kent's thoughts. It made him even more dissatisfied with the older version of Clark Kent. They say they always believe in themselves, but the younger version of Clark Kent doesn't really believe in the other self. After all, they were originally two different individuals, and even at the point where their adoptive father was alive, their fate had changed drastically. Even what happened to them afterwards began to be different. For the young version of Clark Kent, there is nothing more important than family and friends in this world, and he has no idea of being a savior. If some people want to protect the whole world, then they only want to protect the people they care about. So he was unhappy with the older version of Clark Kent. The more he saw the other party facing the United Nations people with righteous words, the angrier he felt. His expression suddenly sank. "Brother, then I'll go and pick up my parents now." He knew that his parents would definitely not want to leave the town he was familiar with, but he was the most important thing to them, so it was not difficult to convince them. so you could already imagine this scene from the fact that Joker was causing trouble before. A younger version of Clark Kent left in a hurry because things went wrong. So Yi put down the book in his hand after he left, and then looked at the TV. On TV, the older version of Clark Kent made a big fuss against the United Nations, and even the United Nations military took out a gun and aimed at Clark Kent. Zero seeking flowers. Not only did Clark Kent not stop, but one harsh word after another came out of his mouth. So Yi just glanced casually at first, then lowered his head slightly, and sat down on the sofa with a calm gaze. These guys are really arrogant. Doesn't he knows that the more he does this, the more dangerous the whole Gotham City will be? So Yi whispered to himself. To be honest, actually letting Clark Kent's adoptive parents leave their hometown and stay here is also dangerous, but it's better than them being taken hostage. These state institutions seem to serve the people, but in fact they can do whatever disgusting means. Some things are already known to happen, and it is natural to prevent them from happening. So you watched these happening very calmly. Existences like the League of Justice, they fight against evil forces, they fight against the country. It seems that many things happen to them anytime, anywhere. They themselves didn't encounter anything originally, and even if they did, they would get over it quickly, but the friends and family around them are often the first to suffer. Maybe this is the halo of the protagonist. Everyone is the protagonist of the story, rather than being manipulated by the plot to move forward. Although being familiar with the plot is a very good thing for Yi, he also wants to survive between the cracks and live a good life with his important people. Yi thought about this, and suddenly couldn't help a chuckle from his mouth. Really, why would he want to do this? Sue, when I came here just now, I saw Clark Kent suddenly transform and leave very quickly. Do you know what he is so anxious about? Have you read the news? Yi didn't answer the question. Wanda was a little confused, and then turned her attention to the news that was broadcasting now. Clark Kent on TV is fighting with the United Nations. At first glance, it is easy to be confused, but if you look closely, you will find that the Clark Kent who appeared on TV is different from the Clark Kent he knows. 360. Unite with other forces to fight against the United Nations. When Wanda continued to look down, her complexion gradually began to turn bad. Is he crazy? If you can fight against the people of the United Nations with one person's strength, then forget it, but couldn't resist, and constantly jumped in front of the opponent. Isn't this yelling for the opponent to come and trouble you? In fact, with the power of Clark Kent, it is actually easy to fight against the people of the United Nations, but he is only warning, just letting the people of the United Nations give up their decision. However, for the country, how can they give up their good decisions so easily? It's time to get off work soon, so Yi took Wanda to leave, but Wang Wanda still looked preoccupied. Sue, do you think Gotham City will suffer a big impact in the future? 0-20 inches. No need to guess, it will definitely happen. When Yi said this, his tone was obviously light, but it was full of power. Wanda couldn't help worrying about this matter, but at the same time, because of Yi's calmness, she didn't seem so worried. The war in Gotham City started soon, and this time it was the encirclement and suppression operation that the United Nations concentrated on. Everyone's density is different when facing such a situation. The Joker group couldn't help reveling because of the UN's actions. Even they couldn't help fishing in troubled waters, and at the same time launched an attack on the League of Justice. This time it was a devastating blow to the Justice League. Many people have died. I inquired about a message. Clark, someone is going to kidnap your parents. Diana looked at Clark Kent with some concern. Recently, she has been busy with the Justice League, and has not even contacted Yi for a long time. Her feelings for Yi are a little bit complicated. After chatting with Bruce Wayne, she found that she and Yi didn't seem to be a good match, and sometimes the compatibility of the three of you is more important. She was a little bit dissatisfied with Yi's plan to stay on her own and maintain a neutral attitude, but Yi has her own decisions, and she can stick to what she wants to do, and it doesn't have to develop in the direction she expects. It was precisely because of thinking like this that she never went to find Yi, and now she is even a little grateful for this. People in the United Nations think that our League of Justice is meddling in national affairs, and they are very dissatisfied with us. Why are you dissatisfied? It's because they plan to deal with us Justice League, but our Justice League doesn't want to stay where they are and be dealt with, so are they dissatisfied? No matter what the reason is, the United Nations is already dealing with us now, but we can't really deal with them. If we really confronted the United Nations, the people will not be on our side. Yes, this time Clark was really impulsive. What does it mean for Clark to be impulsive? Wasn't it a countermeasure that all of us came together to discuss together? Why did we suddenly blame Clark for all the mistakes? At the beginning, I didn't agree. I told everyone to calm down and find another countermeasure. Don't confront the people from the United Nations, but the people from the United Nations haven't even fought them thoroughly, but they have already quarreled with each other. Bruce Wayne felt very headache. This was not what he thought would happen. What he wanted and hoped most was that his son could be resurrected, and this was what he had been working hard to do. But now that one crop after another happened before his eyes, What he wanted to do was put on the sidelines. Now everything is messed up, his friends, his son, everything. He really wanted to throw all this matter aside and not care about anything. But he was also wrong in his decision-making this time, so no matter what bad thoughts popped up in his heart, he couldn't really implement them. He suppressed all those negative thoughts from his heart. At this time, he set his eyes on Diana, who was not far away. "Diana, what's going on with you and Soo-Yi now?" Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Bruce Wayne asked Diana such a sentence, which made Diana blush. "Zero." She clenched her fists. Soo-Yi maintains a neutral attitude. If he asks them for help, I'm not sure whether he can agree. After a pause, Diana realized that she was not answering the question, so she added, "I have nothing to do with him, and I have no position to ask for his help." It is not a lie for Diana to say such a thing, because between the League of Justice and Soo-Yi, she chose the former. Now as long as she thinks of facing Soo-Yi, she feels extremely guilty. So far, she doesn't want to face Soo-Yi at all. He also didn't want others to find out the relationship between himself and Soo-Yi, although it is very likely that there will be no relationship between them after this time. Sighed softly. Immediately, her eyes became serious again, and her tone was very firm. "I am Princess Diana of Paradise Island, and I know my position. Soo-Yi is not on the same side as us. Besides, Bruce, you have already cut off with him before. We have lost our relationship, and we have no position to ask him for help. Under such circumstances, we have only one choice, which is to contact other forces in Gotham City, such as the League of Assassins. We are suffering now, and I believe they will not be able to support 4.9 for long. The people in the United Nations want to control the entire Gotham City, not just deal with us. The reason why they didn't deal with the people of the Joker Alliance is because most of the people in the Joker Alliance are just ordinary people. Some of them are just ordinary people. The existence of crime is not worth their shot at all, so they concentrate all their strength against us. Don't look in the eyes of outsiders. Our Gotham City is just a paradise for criminals, but if Gotham City can be controlled, it may be a very beneficial thing for these people in the United Nations. By the way, not only the United Nations League of Assassins, we can also contact those aliens from beyond Earth." Diana talked a lot, directly excluding Soo-Yi, and what she said was very reasonable, which immediately aroused the approval of others. 361. The United Nations surrounds Gotham City. Soo-Yi doesn't know what the Justice League will do next. But even if he doesn't know, he can roughly guess what will happen next. After returning from the psychological consultation room, he stayed at home, casually flipping through the books in his hand. "Did Clark take his parents over?" "I've already taken it over. I wanted to tell you about it, but I forgot it all at once." Embarrassment was evident in Wanda's eyes, but Soo-Yi didn't talk to her about it at all. "It's normal to forget some things. So is there anything we need to do next?" Wanda sat beside Soo-Yi and asked in a low voice. "People from the Justice League will soon stand by another Clark Kent and fight against the people of the United Nations with them, and the people of the United Nations are estimated to arrive in Gotham City soon. As for the purpose of arriving in Gotham City, there is no need to have any doubts in this regard. Are there other possibilities besides fighting?" "Definitely not anymore." In the eyes of others, no matter what the Justice League does, it is to save the world. They may even feel that they have saved the world many times. Without them, this world may not exist at all. When talking about this, Soo-Yi couldn't help but paused. Definitely, what they did can't be said to be wrong, but they are just people with great love. So for them, perhaps sacrificing a small number of people is normal. Although it is very likely that at the beginning, they didn't think like this at all. What we have to do is actually very simple. Just wait and see what happens, and if something goes wrong, we'll just give you a hand at that time. "Help who?" Wanda asked a little silly. Soo-Yi looked at her with a half smile. Wanda blushed almost immediately. She is so stupid. Why ask such stupid things? Isn't it obvious who to help? Is it possible to help the people of the United Nations? I see. Then I will directly notify you of this matter. Wanda took a deep breath and spoke seriously. Soo-Yi nodded, then continued to look at the book in his hand. "As for the others, just assume that everything is completely understood. I think we could maybe add some more people to our team. Although up to the current position, 5 people seem to be quite a lot." DJ, when a team is organized, it is not natural that the more people the better. Hearing what the other party said, Soo-Yi immediately nodded slightly. While the two of them were talking, Gwen walked in from the outside in a hurry. "It's a mess outside now. Everyone is very nervous, and everyone is in danger. I observed around and found that the people of the United Nations have gradually surrounded the entire Gotham City. The equipment they are equipped with is very sophisticated. I'm a little uneasy. I'm really worried that these guys will take some ordinary people as hostages." When Gwen said this, his tone was very serious. These political people will always only want to get the results they want, and Gotham City doesn't have a very good impression in the eyes of people in other cities. Even in some people outside still say that Gotham City is full of villains from top to bottom. Even if they are all cleaned up, it is a natural thing. What Gwen said makes perfect sense. These politicians sometimes have no morals to speak of in order to achieve their own goals. Even if they kill innocent people, they still have the ability to settle some things and develop everything in a direction that is beneficial to them. No matter what time it is, such situations abound. When Gwen said this, he couldn't stop taking a deep breath. Wanda agrees with what Gwen said. When she glanced at Gwen and then at Soo-Yi, Wanda hesitated for a while, and then said, I think what Sue said is very reasonable. After all, this matter has nothing to do with us. If you act rashly, it may destroy some of the plans of the Justice League. It is better for us to observe for a while at the end, and if the situation is wrong, we will help immediately. In fact, Wanda thinks that Soo-Yi's arrangement can easily misunderstand the people of the Justice League. But because this matter was arranged by Soo-Yi, although Wanda felt a little inappropriate in her heart, she still didn't say anything in the end. Wanda and Gwen stayed by Soo-Yi's side from left to right, asking Soo-Yi some things from time to time. When they were basically sure, they left one after another to do what they could do now. And the other side. This big move by the United Nations was immediately known to others. A series of discussions on this operation soon took place on the internet. And there are people who say anything on the internet at this time. I said that Gotham City should not exist. I sent many letters to the country before, but they were never taken seriously. Now they are finally willing to take action. 1. Although this is the case, there are innocent people in Gotham City. How could there be innocent people in Gotham City? The innocent people left Gotham City long ago. People who will stay in Gotham City, I will never believe that they are innocent. Those with super abilities seem to be dispatched one after another. Batman and Superman, although they have saved the Earth would be better without them. You think that without their existence, those rebels would also disappear? Hey, are you all crazy? Most people couldn't help cheering on this matter. There are only a small number of people who are very sensible, and at the same time they don't agree too much with the action of the United Nations this time. However, these people who speak on the internet have no effect at all, and they will not affect this action. On the other side, the members of the Justice League gathered all the current members together. Cyborg and Hawkgirl. The two of you go to the neighborhood immediately to check the situation. The people from the United Nations took a sneak attack attitude towards them, and even united with some ability fighters to kill many of their members. This time their losses were very heavy. Even more accurately, the Justice League has been in a very passive situation. They even thought about uniting with other forces, but those forces all rejected them. 362. The first wave of attack comes. Those forces do not want to participate in this dispute. Although the people of the Justice League have said several times that if they don't unite, all the forces in Gotham City will be reshuffled, and it will be dangerous at that time. These forces feel that what the people of the Justice League said is actually correct, but although they know this very well in their hearts, they still have no intention of doing so. Night is a very good time to act. Well-equipped troops, they hold weapons, listen to the orders of their superiors in their ears, and do the things ordered in the earphones in an orderly manner. They will not distinguish whether the orders issued by their superiors are correct or incorrect. They have only one purpose, which is to complete the task. As long as they complete the task, they can go back as soon as possible. Definitely, as soldiers, their nature is to obey the orders of the same. This is also a planned operation. I don't believe they decided to attack the entire Gotham City on the spur of the moment. Many ordinary people have been harmed in this operation. They're really damn good. What should we do next? I don't know. Do you want us to evacuate the entire Gotham City? It's simply not something that can be done. The base owners of the Justice League were constantly discussing around the table. Hawkgirl flicked her long hair. What else do you need to think about in this situation? Just go head-to-head with them. Cyborg tapped lightly on the table. Now is their first wave of attack. This is their temptation, but this temptation has caused us heavy losses. If there is a second or third wave, I don't know if we can still take it. What Cyborg said makes a lot of sense. Everyone else listen carefully. That Soo-Yi in the psychiatric clinic in the city center seems to be doing something secretly. The older version of Superman Clark Kent said this out of the blue. When he said these words, other people's eyes fell on him involuntarily. Even if he does something in private, what does it have to do with us? Diana opened her mouth and said, he won't participate in this incident, and he won't help at all, knowing that it's useless. After she finished speaking, she couldn't help turning her gaze to Batman Bruce Wayne not far away. I also believe that Bruce Wayne would definitely not involve Soo-Yi, because he was the first to draw a line with Soo-Yi. After Bruce Wayne heard what Superman Clark Kent said, he didn't directly deny it, but instead asked Superman Clark Kent, how did you know about Soo-Yi's private actions? After letting go of the harsh words to the people in the United Nations, I felt very worried. I was worried that something would happen to my adoptive parents, so I flew to the small town where they lived. As soon as I left, I came to a conclusion. The neighbor told me that the person had died long ago. I was picked up, and I picked it up myself. The young version of Clark Kent had a very good relationship with Soo-Yi, so he picked him up in advance, so he had to investigate certain situations. After checking, he immediately knew that some time ago, Soo-Yi's woman, the person named Wanda, directly picked up the other self. Immediately afterwards, he inquired about the news a little bit, and he knew more things than at the beginning. Soo-Yi seems to have formed a small team, although he doesn't know who else is in this small team except for the other himself. but he believes that Sui must have his own intentions in doing so. The older version of Clark Kent explained everything to his companions in detail. The companions looked at each other after listening to these words. As for what the situation was, they were not clear about it. They could only lower their heads and discuss with the people next to them in a low voice, but no matter how much they discussed, they still didn't understand Sui. At this time they set their sights on Batman Bruce Wayne. They felt that in the Justice League, Bruce was the one who had the longest contact with Sui. I don't know anything about him at all. And what can a psychiatrist do to someone in the Justice League? Even if we know very well that this man's strength is extraordinary. But everyone in our Justice League is an ability, even if one more person has more power, but I think it is enough for now. Others wanted to say something to Bruce Wayne, but they were interrupted by Bruce Wayne before they could speak. A large screen was turned on by Bruce Wayne and projected onto the wall. This is the general situation after the various surveillance systems in Gotham City are running. These monitoring devices are very secretive, allowing them to clearly see what is going on. There seems to be a lot of volume we need to fight. Stop talking nonsense at this time, but start quickly. While the members of the Justice League were conducting a series of discussions, Sui took the lead in taking action. Originally, they planned to wait until the members of the Justice League were dispatched first before taking action, but they did not expect that the time for the members of the Justice League to discuss was really long. They waited impatiently. In this obviously impatient situation, they can only take the lead. Sui and the others struck very fiercely, almost killing them with one blow, and did not give the soldiers of the United Nations any chance to resist. Wanda's chaos power is a very vicious group killer. Gwen's ability is also extraordinary. It is simply a breeze for some ordinary people. They don't have any compassion. If they don't kill these soldiers at this moment, then they will only die, although it is actually very difficult to kill them. On the other side, the young version of Clark Kent was very hesitant at the beginning, and even felt a little sorry in his heart, but when he thought that these people actually wanted to kidnap his adoptive father and mother, at that moment, the kindness to them then it disappeared. He would not let anyone hurt his adoptive parents. If such a thing would really happen, then he would prevent it in advance. Among these people, the only one who has no psychological pressure is probably Harvey Dante. The action this time was discussed by the United Nations for a long time, for at least a few years. 363. Is a dirty city worth it? It was only this time that the action was launched, but Cheng Yojin suddenly popped out halfway, and not any of them. These people who follow the orders from above, listening to some orders in their ears, don't know what to do for a moment. Retreat. Such a voice suddenly came from the ear. Those giants originally wanted to continue moving, but under such a sound, they only paused for a few seconds, and then retreated quickly. It's just an extremely dirty city, it's not worth it for you. When retreating, one of them couldn't help but say such a sentence from his mouth. And the person standing opposite him happened to be Sui. When Sui heard this, her brows were only slightly raised. That's our business, and it has nothing to do with you. The corners of Sui's mouth rose slightly when he said this, and there was even a trace of a smile on his face. The man's complexion was not very good, but at the same time he was very vigilant towards Sui, but seeing that Sui didn't care about their intention to do something, he immediately felt relieved. Where is the man who ordered you? Just when they were about to retreat, Sui suddenly spoke again, and even just for a split second, he appeared in front of them and directly blocked 473's way. We don't know where they are at all. Even if you kill us now, we don't know or don't know. We won't betray. Blocked by Sui, the tall and straight soldier showed an uncontrollable look of fear in his eyes. It seems that these people are still afraid of death. You're a far cry from those lunatics. Sui said this softly, and then disappeared in front of them in an instant. He's going to see the others now, and wants to know what's going on with them. Sui and the others just drove these people away at once with the strength of a few people. However, Sui is not naive. He knows that the matter is far from over. After all, this is only the first wave of attacks. The Justice League base is baffled by the current scene. They were discussing it, and they were even convinced that Sui would never help them. But what is going on now seems to be a completely different situation from what they initially thought. Haha, didn't you say that Sui won't help? Look, isn't he helping now? And he immediately repelled the first wave of the UN's attack. Doesn't that mean he doesn't help? The Flash thought this scene was very interesting, especially when he saw his companions, the members of the Justice League, staring dumbfounded. He found it even more interesting. Although at the beginning, the Flash didn't have a good impression of Sui. But there are some things that don't need to be said too clearly. Anyway, anyone who helps them with the Justice League is a good person. As for others, what need to compare like that? Let's think about it now. The Flash leaned softly on the stool. Consider what? Diana pursed her lips and couldn't help asking. Ask what the psychiatrist's plans are? I believe it should not be the case on the surface. This is just the first wave of attacks. I believe that the people from the United Nations will never end it so easily. There must be other things. Bruce Wayne interrupted the Flash, his voice hoarse. Although Sui's attack caught him a little bit by surprise, he still felt that Sui was not helping them. Maybe it was just a coincidence, or Sui was planning something else. On the other side, After Suyi and the others finished dealing with the matter here, they started another action. They left Gotham City, only to be caught by an older version of Clark Kent halfway. Superman fell from the sky, and when he saw the younger version of himself, he opened his mouth, CCBG, and said, "You shouldn't be here, because everything here has nothing to do with you. I didn't show up because of you. I just wanted to help Suyi." The older version of Clark Kent fell silent for a split second. After being silent for a while, he said again, "You shouldn't put your adoptive father and mother aside. No matter where they are arranged now, you should be by their side to avoid any accidents." And this sentence made the young version of Clark Kent very angry. He immediately sneered, "When you do this series of things, when you fight against the United Nations alone, have you ever thought about our adoptive father and mother? No, you haven't thought about it at all. You only thought about yourself. If it wasn't because of Suyi, I'm afraid my parents and their car would have encountered an accident now." The older Clark Kent was at a loss for words for a moment. He tightly closed his mouth, and after a while he slowly said, "Yes, I did make a mistake this time." And as they discussed it, one of the politicians monitoring Gotham City via satellite tapped his finger on the table. They were very dissatisfied with the fact that the first wave of attacks failed. "Maybe at this time we should throw the ace out. Also, what happened to that doctor named Suyi? Isn't he just an ordinary doctor?" "No, according to our investigation results, the psychiatrist is not an ordinary doctor. He seems to be an ability patient. He disrupted our plans, disrupted our control of Gotham City, and even other plans. This person must not stay." "So what do we do next?" Subordinates asked. "Don't worry, because of this incident, everyone was fallen into chaos. We have more time." While talking, the politician in a neat suit walked directly into a room. However, he had just walked a few steps forward, and when he wanted to report something to his superior, a person covered his mouth firmly from behind. This scene is simply shocking. There are layers of guards here. It is impossible for anyone to break in. But the reality is that someone broke in, and not just one person. The expression on the face of the politician in a black suit was a bit of panic, but also a bit of disbelief. The door closed quickly. "Don't yell casually. If you dare to yell, I will destroy you." Suyi smiled and said this in the politician's ear. 364 The method of forcing the army to retreat is too cruel. Hearing what Suyi said, the politician's eyes showed obvious panic, and he nodded hastily, expressing that he would never speak out. Although the politician said so, he was very sure that as soon as Suyi let him go, he would immediately call people in. However, Suyi's next words made him pale with shock. "I know that if I let you go, you will definitely attract other people. Do you think that this is your territory, surrounded by heavy forces? As long as you open your mouth, we will be unable to fly?" The politician's mind was exposed all of a sudden, and the fear in his eyes became more obvious in an instant. His hands were tightly clenched into fists, and the beating of his heart made him unable to keep calm for a moment. "You know, if I hadn't been fully prepared, I wouldn't be here at all." Hearing Suyi say this in his ear, doubts appeared in the eyes of the politician. "Prepare in advance? How did you prepare in advance?" He couldn't help thinking like this in his heart, a little disapproving. "Your beloved wife and your 2 daughters are now in my hands." After finishing these words lightly, Suyi suddenly pushed the politician forward and let go. "What did you do to my wife and daughter? Don't hurt them." "Looks like this is grabbing your sore foot." Suyi smiled. "If this goes on, we'll be fine for the next conversation." Suyi directly chose a place to sit comfortably, while Wanda and others stood beside him. A group of people looked at the politician, and the pressure on him was infinite. "Actually, if we want to do something, just kill all the people who protect you, but we are good people, and we still give you a chance to choose." "What kind of choice are you giving us? Do you know that it's despicable for you to do this? Thanks to you, you are still a superhero. We're different from the Justice League. We will do good things. But we can also. It's despicable." Harvey Dante seemed to find what the politician said was very funny, seeing that Suyi didn't speak. He simply said it himself. His opening made the politician's expression extremely ugly. The young version of Clark Kent rubbed his nose uncomfortably. "Actually, as long as you do what we say, your wives and daughters will definitely not be hurt." "What the hell do you want me to do?" "Retreat. Return your ice power to your own country. As long as you do this, we will immediately return your wife and daughter." "Can this be done?" "Nothing is more important than your own family." "More important?" Politicians glared at Suyi. He was sure that the man in front of him was the leader of this group of villains. "Okay, I'll do as you said." Suyi was very satisfied with his cooperation, so he nodded. After finishing this matter, there are still many things to be done, so they left. After they left, the politician called the housekeeper almost immediately. The butler's voice was very flustered. "Master, Madam and Miss are gone." The politician had naively thought that this was probably just a means of threatening himself, but in fact the other party did nothing at all. But now the last thing is wrong. "Doubt is gone." He held the receiver tightly with his hand. Without any hesitation, he almost immediately withdrew all his forces. And in the next hour to 2 hours, there were quite a few forces retreating. The United Nations united against the forces of Gotham City, and there was chaos almost immediately. Originally they planned to launch a second wave of attacks, but now those people retreated inexplicably, which caused a lot of damage to their attack this time. A series of discussions started almost immediately in the United Nations. It took us several years to reach a cooperation this time, but now you are all retreating one by one. What do you mean? Yes, there is nothing wrong. It did take several years to reach a cooperation, but this has nothing to do with our country. I have already told the president about this matter, and the president is also very supportive. It is the most correct choice at present to be invincible to the enemy and preserve our troops. There are mixed forces in Gotham City. Even if we win this time against the League of Justice, what effect will it have? Do you think you can control Gotham City? Asking for flowers. The Justice League is indeed very upright. When they confronted us, they came forward, but this does not mean that other forces in Gotham City will be so upright. I can't make fun of my family's life. Others all have left, but none of the rest is willing to leave. Sue, why didn't you also kidnap the family members of the remaining politicians? Why? The reason is very simple, because family members are not that important to them. Influence. Sue said lightly, some people in this world regard family members as more important than their own lives and careers, but some people don't think so. What does that mean to them? Is it the most important thing? Rights. If it is power, then we have no way to deal with them now. There are dozens of countries in the United Nations, and only half of them have withdrawn now. I think the current way it's better to be more merciful. Harvey. Dante said, if you want me to say, just kill these leaders of the United Nations, wouldn't that be good? It's easy and can be done immediately. Said yes, but killing innocent people indiscriminately is not good. After all, we are not villains. Sue tilted his head, but he quickly made a decision. The next thing we will do is demonstrate. As he said that, Sue smiled, and pointed at a photo in his hand. Start with this person, kill him, and then use the form of live broadcast to spread the news of his death. As long as you don't want to retreat, then we kill one person an hour. I think they should retreat when their lives are in danger. This method is too cruel. Wanda frowned. However, after Sue listed his crimes, she immediately had no opinion. Here's what Sue said. This man has launched dozens of battles, and even carried out massacre battles against some small countries, including old people and children who are helpless. Almost none of his soldiers are kind. In that case, shouldn't we kill this man's soldiers by a ninja? 365. How can we be despicable if we do what you have done again? Harvey. Dante asked aggressively. Sue glanced at him, and then said calmly, his personal soldiers are 1,231 in total. If you want to, I suggest attacking their personal soldiers. Sue, you really know a lot. The younger version of Clark Kent said to Sue with glowing eyes. When they lived in a small town before, he knew that Sue was very powerful, but now he was almost sure of it. Sue raised his hand and rubbed Clark Kent's head. Although this guy looked much older than him, in his eyes he was still the child he watched grow up. I know a lot more than you. Sue laughed, and Gwen and Wanda laughed too. Soon, they started to act on it. This time it was a one-sided 423 massacre. Sue and his men were elusive, and as long as they were targeting the people, there was almost no possibility of escape. People like you can actually be called heroes, a group of shameless guys. Those who wear military uniforms and are well-equipped usually kill people unilaterally. When will they become as embarrassed as they are today? Sue smiled slightly. It's just doing what you have done in reverse. How can it be called despicable? Your name is Xavier, right? Sue opened his mouth slowly. The smile on his mouth didn't decrease at all. But the more he behaved like this, the pressure on the person named Xavier in front of him also became greater. You have killed a lot of people, and they were making noise and begging for mercy in your ears, but for you, this kind of sound makes you extremely excited, and you can't wait to make them scream even more tragically. Sue continued slowly. At the same time, Xavier's thoughts drifted to the past scene. His eyes were red, and his whole person suddenly appeared in a state of extreme excitement. At this moment, his voice was extraordinarily rampant. You will also become my dead soul. People like you are inherently inferior to us. I, Xavier, am a high-ranking group of people. You are just some livestock. Even in the face of Sue, Xavier still didn't take him seriously, but Sue didn't take him seriously at all. The corners of Sue's mouth curled up slightly, and the coldness in his eyes became more intense at this moment. He opened his mouth and said, beast. Afterwards, Sue directly attacked the opponent. With just one shot, Xavier's head was separated, completely lifeless. The blood from the finger dripped down to the ground drop by drop. Sue shook it casually. And when he finished this matter, a person flew over from afar. The figure of that person is enchanting and moving, and it is Diana. Impressively. Seeing Sue on the bloody battlefield, she couldn't help biting her lip. Before she could speak, Sue said first, if you came here just to reprimand me, then you don't need to speak. After all, he and the Justice League are not on the same side. Diana originally wanted to say that it was wrong for Sue to do so, but she doesn't have any position to say such a thing now. If she was a girlfriend, she should be on Sue's side. If it wasn't for Sue's girlfriend, then she would be even less qualified to say these things. I'm really sorry, just like what you said before, we are not the same way after all, so there is no way to get together. I haven't contacted you these days because I don't dare. Also very sad." When Diana said this, her tone was a little low. "So, that's what you came to after thinking about it, right?" Suyi's tone could be said to be calm, and he actually already had an idea of what kind of choice Diana would make. Therefore, after Diana suddenly appeared here today and said such a thing, he did not have any surprises. "I'm really sorry." Diana shook her head, then nodded quickly. Obviously she likes Suyi, but real life is always more dramatic than drama. Obviously she was unwilling in her heart, but she was still very sure that there was no way for them to be together. Together, it will be more painful because of different ideas. "You came here just to say something like this to me?" "I originally wanted to stop you, but it seems that I don't have the qualifications, so I won't say anything." Diana said at this point, "I feel that Bruce Wayne has simply given himself a very big trouble. He himself didn't want to come, but he called her over. That bat is just too much." Thinking of this, Diana's beautiful eyes were stained with melancholy. She was obviously smiling at Suyi, but the smile never reached her eyes, and even a little worried. "Since you have nothing to do, then leave here. It is enough for me to be here alone." Although Suyi didn't make it clear, Diana knew that there might be no possibility between them now, especially since the other party was still driving her away. If she can't put Suyi in the first place forever, then she is not qualified to stay by Suyi's side at all. "Harvey, Dante is by your side. I don't think it will be long before Director Gordon and Bruce Wayne will come to you." Before that, they didn't know some things at all, and now Harvey Dante is very active, and even obviously related to you. "No matter how much that bat didn't want to come to Suyi before, I'm afraid he has to come in person. Let him come to me casually, but if he wants to attack my subordinates, then I will never let you go lightly." The corners of Suyi's lips slightly raised 4.4, but his tone was light and threatening. "Maybe in there before I came to make trouble, I might have moved my clinic away from the original place and parted ways with you completely." Diana's heart skipped a beat. She suddenly raised her head to look at Suyi. Deep in her heart she wanted to tell herself that Suyi wasn't serious when he said such a thing, he just said it on purpose. But when she looked at the other party seriously, she was sure that the other party was not lying. This is a really bad situation. She couldn't help thinking like this in her heart. Diana shook her head. Originally, she was sure about what Bruce Wayne would do next, but now she had to stop it and let other people around her stop Bruce Wayne together, so as not to make the situation worse. 366. Extremely courageous Louise, go crazy. Diana took a deep breath, and after knowing that she didn't need her help here, she didn't stay any longer, but took another deep look at Suyi. With that appearance, it seemed that he wanted to keep Suyi's appearance firmly in his heart. After that, she left. Not long after she left, Suyi easily killed those surrounding people again. At this time, he suddenly heard a clicking sound. Suyi's complexion suddenly darkened. He suddenly looked in the direction of the sound. Looking at it, I saw Louise with an embarrassed face. "Why are you here?" Suyi's tone was not very good. Louise's pretty face was still extremely disturbed. You should know that I am a reporter. I will take pictures everywhere. I don't know if you remember me, but we met in the previous town. I have met several times." Louise made an introduction almost incoherently. "My memory is very good, but this is not a place for you to come." 22 Please don't drive me away. I came to Gotham City to do my part for this society. Although what you are doing now is a little scary, but I believe you. You must have your own intentions when doing this, and your method is obviously much better than the people of the Justice League, which is also undeniable denied. I don't need your approval." Suyi opened his mouth slowly, and then said, "Louis, get out of here. I really won't trouble you." Suddenly, Louise suddenly showed panic in her eyes. "Be careful." Her face was pale, and then she saw a man in military uniform. He directly raised his hand and hit Suyi in the chest with a gun. At that moment, Louise felt that the sky was falling. She made a very bad decision. Maybe when Suyi told her and asked her to leave here at the same time, she should leave immediately instead of staying here and talking nonsense. If it wasn't for doing this by herself, Suyi would still be safe now. "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry." Louise wept, making a constantly painful sound from her mouth, and Suyi looked at her chest, and turned around slowly. It was a man whose arm was broken off by him. Logically speaking, he should not have any attack ability. It should be like this. But the opponent's arm suddenly healed for some reason. "Originally, I didn't intend to kill you, because you still have a heart of compassion. You once reprimanded your friends for not attacking women and children, but I forgot that. Although some people didn't do anything excessive, but in the same environment, it is very difficult not to lose control. And you are out of control now." So you could feel that the opponent's mental power was in a state of madness and uncontrollability. It would be too dangerous for such a person to be released. It's not a good thing for society as a whole. Suyi put his hand on the opponent's head, and with a quick movement, the opponent fell directly to the ground, without a sound. After doing this, Suyi directly forced out the bullet in his chest. The wound healed very quickly, leaving only a little blood on the clothes. The opponent was very close, and Suyi had no defenses at all before, so he was caught by the opponent. There was obvious guilt on Louise's face, and she couldn't help but stepped forward. "I'm really sorry. If it wasn't because of me, you wouldn't have any harm today. Everything is because of me. It's your fault. If you know it's your fault, then you should leave." Su-yi spoke again, but this time Louise didn't stop. She pursed her lips, looked at Su-yi one more time, and then hurried left. She can no longer trouble Su-yi, Louise told herself in her heart. She ran very fast, and Wanda, Gwen and others who had already dealt with the matter on the other side quickly returned to Su-yi. When they saw the wound on Su-yi's chest, their eyes suddenly widened. "Su, you're hurt." Su-yi shook his head. "I'm fine." His walking posture and actions did not look like he was seriously injured. Although Gwen and Wanda still had some worries, they didn't say much at the moment. "How are you handling things over there?" Su-yi asked. Harvey Dent took a step forward almost immediately, and then said to Su-yi, "Everything is going according to plan. Those geese refused to withdraw their troops from Gotham City at the beginning, but in the company after killing 3 politicians, they were all terrified. By the way, they also recruited a few ability fighters, whose strength was not bad. Later, people from the Justice League showed up and helped to kill those guys." Subdued. When Harvey Dante said this, his eyes were a little subtle. At that time, Bruce Wayne appeared, and he was a little wary at first, but when the other party saw him, he kept silent. They didn't speak, and Bruce Wayne didn't stop his behavior in any way, but Harvey Dante could not help but frown when he could see the other party for sure when he was attacking fiercely. After all, they are not the same. Harvey Dante couldn't help thinking this in his heart, and at the moment, he originally felt that his already calm heart was touched a little bit. In fact, the more he stayed by Su-yi's side, the more he realized that what he did in the past was wrong, but in reality there is no medicine for regret, and his wife will not come back because of this. "I just thought about it for a while," and then Harvey Dante closed his mouth, and didn't continue to think about it. "Maybe it's because I feel that no matter how much I think about it next, it won't do anything." "Are you sure that all the people from the United Nations have retreated?" Su-yi asked again. "I'm very sure. We and the people from the Justice League have checked everything around, and those guys are indeed not there." Harvey Dante looked up at Su-yi while talking. "Since those guys are gone, then go on. What should we do next?" "Clean up all these corpses. We can't let them lie here blatantly and make others afraid," Su-yi said slowly. Harvey Dante nodded. "I will go to other places to clean up all the battlefields now." Harvey Dante turned and left after speaking. Clark Kent raised his hand and scratched the back of his head. "In short, it's good that everything is over. As for other things, it's not that important." 367. Resurrected. Damian Wayne. The United Nations attack on Gotham City had just begun and it was over in a short time, and the people who contributed the most to this time were Su-yi and the others. However, apart from the United Nations, the Justice League, and even other forces in Gotham City, the outside world does not know what is going on. Su-yi originally thought that after doing such a thing, someone would come to her and make trouble for her, but in fact she didn't. He still runs his own psychotherapy room in the city center, and the guests who come to him are also very ordinary, and there is nothing special about it. Su-yi was just a little bit surprised at the beginning, but gradually she didn't take it to heart. He is doing his ordinary job as a doctor, and Gotham City is still as usual, either quiet or noisy. These things don't seem to have much relationship with Su-yi. It is said that it is different, but in fact there is still a little bit of difference. A man named Damian Wayne showed up in the psych room. "You are Su-yi? I've heard about you." Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's son, was supposed to be dead, but now the dead man was standing in front of Su-yi alive, and he really couldn't help but take a few more glances at that high-spirited look. "If you know about me from the Justice League or your father Bruce Wayne, then I am not surprised or curious about it." When Su-yi said this, his tone was calm, and he even smiled at Damian Wayne. "After I came back, I learned about many things. I thought there would be many different places in Gotham City, but I found that the most curious thing among them is you." Damian Wayne felt that he might have a lot to say next, so he simply opened the seat in front of Su-yi and sat on it by himself. The guy came uninvited, and he didn't come here to see a doctor. Although Su-yi didn't drive him away, he didn't prepare tea for him either. He just glanced at each other a few times. Damian Wayne was surprised to see the other party's lazy appearance. However, surprises are surprises, and what should be said must be said now. "I want to join your team." Damian Wayne didn't beat around the bush this time, but straightforwardly stated the reason why he came here this time. "It seems that you know a lot of things from other people, but my team is not so easy to advance." Su-yi raised her eyebrows unexpectedly, and then said this. "No matter who you want to be in, it's not easy to get into." Damian Wayne crossed his legs and staggered. "My father hoped that I could learn by his side, but I never felt that being in is what you can learn from your hands." Seeing Su-yi looking towards him, Damian Wayne shrugged. "Well, maybe I was wrong when I said this. My father is a hero, and in Gotham City famous. No, maybe not just in Gotham, but all over the world. Everyone knows his code name is Batman, and maybe you know a lot about me, so in this case, I think there is no need to hide it from you. I was dead but resurrected." Seeing that there was no surprise on Su-yi's expression, Damian Wayne knew that his guess was indeed correct. This man named Su-yi obviously knew more than he thought. The man didn't show too obvious surprise from the beginning to the end, although it seems that there is a little bit of surprise. Even if it is like this, there is always a bit of falsehood. It seems that it is deliberately pretending to show him, but it is so careless. If you're willing to let me join your small team, you don't need to worry about money. After all, in this kind of city, absolutely no one is richer than the Wayne family. Having said that, Damian Wayne's tone is full of confidence. Hearing Damian Wayne say such words, the corners of Su-Yi's mouth rose slightly, and the smile on his face seemed to become deeper and deeper at this moment. No one richer than the Wayne family? Young man in front of you, you may know nothing about real money. Su-Yi curled his lips silently. If I agree with you to join my small team, your father may come to trouble me from time to time. Su-Yi said lightly. I can take care of this matter, as long as you leave me a spot. That's enough. I think I have exactly the same philosophy as your team. I really can't stand my father. He insists on the bottom line of not killing people. People hate it. Saying this, Ian Wayne frowned wolfishly. From the expression on his face, he meant what he said. Su-Yi nodded slightly. Well, if you can convince your father, then I am willing and even welcome you to join my team. Damian Wayne is an ambitious person. He has a very strong sense of right and wrong, and he is not as pedantic as Bruce Wayne. If such a person can join his team, it is still very useful. Although at the beginning, Su-Yi thought about rejecting the other party. After all, Batman Bruce Wayne was really difficult, and he didn't want the other party to come to him. But if Su-Yi really decides something, so that Batman Bruce Wayne does have to come to the door, then he is not the kind of person who will be shy, and even they can have a good talk. There are many misunderstandings between him and Bruce Wayne. Although the two took different paths, they are actually good for the development of Gotham City. Su-Yi hopes that Bruce Wayne can figure out this matter. If it doesn't work, and you can't explain it clearly on this matter, then there is nothing left to say. Su-Yi waited patiently. He thought it would be a long time to wait for Batman Bruce Wayne, but he didn't expect Bruce Wayne to be pregnant soon. And this time, he came with Damian Wayne. He grabbed Damian's arm with a menacing look. This time, Su-Yi directly prepared a cup of coffee for both of them. He is a guest at the door, and he can't be really rude. I'm not here for a cup of coffee. Bruce Wayne looked at Su-Yi with a particularly complicated expression on his face. Once, he thought that he would become very friendly with this person in front of him, but later, everything proved that it was just his own whimsy. 368. League of the Justice. You must have a bottom line in being a man. They are different people after all. And now, if it wasn't for his son Damian Wayne, he might never set foot in this place again. I know that you did nothing wrong with the United Nations before. It was all for the development of Gotham City, but I don't agree with you. What Bruce Wayne said did not surprise Su-Yi at all. I don't do anything to get other people's approval, and I never feel that I have done anything wrong. It seems that you have a lot to talk to me today. Why don't you sit down and have a good talk? Su-Yi looked at Bruce Wayne with a smile. Bruce Wayne stared at Su-Yi firmly. He really has no way to understand that the two of them are almost in a confrontational situation now. Why the other party is still so calm now. Just thinking about it, Bruce Wayne finally sat down. You have to know, I finally brought Damian back to life, and I will never let him fall into danger. So you plan to guard him tightly in the League of Justice and make him a waste that cannot be separated from his father? Su-Yi smiled and said extremely cruel words, and this 69 words expressed the true thoughts in Bruce Wayne's heart. Shame on Bruce Wayne. He just kept Damian by his side, and he didn't mean to support him. Don't talk nonsense. I just don't want Damian to disappear from my side again. He is very important to me, more important than anyone in this world. How difficult it is to revive Damian, and how painful it is during this waiting process. After Bruce Wayne tried it once himself, he never wanted to try it a second time. He stared at Su-Yi. I came here just for one thing about Damian. Su-Yi nodded. I can see it, but Damian really wants to join my team. Su-Yi, I used to respect you very much, and even wanted to include you in the League of Justice, but there is a bottom line for being a human being. So your bottom line is not to kill anyone, even if that person is a criminal. It may even destroy a city, right? I just, hand over their crimes to the police, not that they. Before Bruce Wayne could finish his sentence, Su-Yi directly interrupted the other party's words without hesitation. If it wasn't because you refused to kill Joker, then the crimes after Joker would be all the same from beginning to end. It won't happen. He gets caught in jail again and again, but escapes again and again. If you kill him in the first place, maybe not so much after that. The smile on Su-Yi's face diminished a lot, but soon, he put on a smile again. Definitely, I'm not a policeman and I don't care what Joker did. If Su-Yi cares, then he will probably go to Joker after he finishes dealing with the United Nations, and then kill Joker. Su-Yi is not a partner of the righteous, nor is he the kind who kills people indiscriminately. What he does is just what he has to do. He never felt that what he did was wrong, and he never forced the other party to do what he did. Those who get along become friends, and those who don't get along become strangers. These are actually natural things. Su-Yi and Bruce Wayne had said a lot before, but none of what they said could convince each other. Okay, I'm an adult, I'm not a child anymore, Dad. I want to join Su Yi's team. Even if you don't allow me, I have identified myself as a member of Su Yi's team. I've had enough of you." Damian Wayne looks at his father. He respected his father and loved him, but he couldn't forgive him for manipulating his life. It was like this in the past, it is like this now, and it is likely to be like this in the future. Damian Wayne needs to decide his own future instead of following Bruce Wayne's self-righteous path. If killing one person can save 1,000 people, or even a city, then I think it's correct. Damian Wayne continued while talking. Some videos are still being released on the internet. I've read it over and over again. When Damian Wayne said these words, a little curiosity surged in Su Yi's heart. What is the content of the video that the other party said? In this level of curiosity, he finally knew. Turns out the video was about his small team killing one of the politicians and then getting the UN guys out of Gotham. Is it okay to kill innocent people? If the person in front of him wasn't his own son, Bruce Wayne really wanted to give him a good beating. If so, the other party wouldn't say such a thing, isn't it? What people outside are talking about now, you know. It's all because of Batman. Bruce Wayne's inaction, so Gotham City is in a mess now. What Joker, what messed up people, it's all because of you. When Damian Wayne said this, his tone was very ugly. These words also made Bruce Wayne's face more and more ugly. Bruce Wayne was so angry that he slapped Damian hard in the face. Damian didn't dodge. His left cheek became red and swollen at a speed visible to the naked eye. After Bruce Wayne slapped the opponent hard, he realized it later, and suddenly felt a little regret. He was so impulsive, he clearly told himself that he would never lose Damian again, and he must treat him well, but this guy Damian was really irritating. Both past and present. Take back what you just said. I'm your father, the doctor's father. It is because you are my biological father that I will discuss it with you, instead of just doing what I want regardless. The father and son are in a completely confrontational situation. Su Yi, the real owner here, seems to be a spectator, watching the father and son come and go. If you just want to quarrel in my psychotherapy room, then I can make room for you to quarrel, and if you have nothing else to do, then you can leave too. 369. A group of monsters appeared in the sea. Su Yi casually pulled out a book from the table, and opened his mouth carelessly. The father and son almost unanimously set their sights on Su Yi. Then Bruce Wayne's eyes moved away from Su Yi, and then fell on his son Damian again. Whatever, if this time, you really die because of another accident, I won't be resurrected. You are dead. All this is your own fault. In the end, Bruce Wayne really couldn't hold back. Damian said such a sentence harshly, and left angrily. The back of Bruce Wayne leaving angrily looks like he wants to sever the father-son relationship with Damian, but from the frown of the other party, it can be seen that he is reluctant to compromise after all. The goal has been achieved. Damian is in a trance, and some still haven't recovered. When he realized it, he couldn't help heaving a sigh of relief, and at the same time showed a big smile to Su Yi. Hey, I finally convinced my father. Su Yi's eyes fell on Damian's face that was so swollen that he couldn't look at it anymore. You deliberately brought your father to me. It seems that your goal has been achieved. I should say that your behavior is very bold. Damian's eyes flickered a few times, and then he grinned and said, "This everything was an accident." "Is it an accident?" "It seems that being slapped by your father was also an accident." Su Yi frowned and said, "Hey, doctor, don't tell me if you see through some things. If I don't find you, my dad will definitely control me in everything." "Don't look at the cruel words he said just now. In fact, he still treats you in his heart." "I believe it. After all, he is the biological son of Batman Bruce Wayne, and he still understands what his father is thinking." "I don't care about your reasons, but now that you have decided to join my team and I have accepted you, then I absolutely do not allow betrayal to exist." Don't look at Su Yi's lazy attitude of not taking anything to heart. But for some things, he still cares very much. Damian smiled again. This smile made the injury on his face look more serious, and his face looked even uglier. "Although I came here with a purpose, what I said before is also serious. I admire you very much, and I want to be your subordinate. My philosophy is exactly the same as that of your team." While saying this to Su Yi, Damian covered his swollen face, and then under Su Yi's smiling gaze, he couldn't help muttering, "I should spend more time to give my handsome face to you." The swelling has subsided, otherwise I would be ashamed to go out to meet people. In this way, the team formed by Su Yi quickly added another member. Before, it was just me and my girlfriend, so I didn't need to pay too much attention to some things, but now that I have subordinates, I still have to do some team activities. When Su Yi has free time, she still thinks about it occasionally. "I also thought about it very seriously. When it comes to going to work, I originally have my own principles, so I am very firm, and when it comes to vacations, I can do whatever I want." On Huaxia's National Day, Su Yi directly gave herself a few days off. The door of the psychological consultation room was closed. Su Yi rented a luxury cruise ship and planned to go to sea with her group members. For Su Yi's proposal and ideas, others have no opinion. Sometimes it is necessary to have some relaxing activities to clear up their brains. The sea breeze is salty, but it is very comfortable to blow on people. We haven't been out to sea for a long time. On this luxury cruise ship, apart from Su Yi and the others, There are only waiters, cleaners, and cruise ship operators. They are just ordinary people, but even ordinary people, if they can improve their quality of life, their existence is meaningful. What is there to see at sea? Harvey Dante held a glass of red wine in his hand and shook it lightly twice, feeling that the sea was full of patches, which was quite boring. Damian Wayne walked in front of him. Uncle Damian, don't you have to go to work? Don't you like your free time? He remembered that when Harvey Dent had a good relationship with his father Bruce Wayne, he used to complain about working too long, and he didn't have time to go out with his wife. However, Harvey Dante became what he is now, which he did not expect. Ask for flowers. Harvey Dent and Damian Wayne were casually chatting on the deck of the cruise ship, when suddenly they seemed to hear a voice calling for help not far away. Help, help. The frightened voice was not very clear from the beginning, but gradually became extremely clear later. Is someone calling for help? Harvey Dante spoke slowly, and then their eyes were constantly searching the sea. A man was lying on a wooden board, following the ups and downs of the sea. The panic in his eyes could be clearly seen even though he was far away. When Harvey Dent and Damian Wayne looked at the people calling for help not far away, Yi and others also walked onto the deck. Gwen. Yi just softly called Gwen's name, and the cobweb in Gwen's hand immediately rushed towards the man who was floating on the sea some distance away, and just pulled him up shore. The man floating on the sea fell on the deck of the cruise ship. Cough cough cough. The man coughed several times in a row, and it took a long time for him to calm down. Thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would have died in the sea by now. The feeling of surviving after the catastrophe was so good that the man cried out almost immediately. Yi looked at the other party with a very delicate expression. What happened? Why are you floating on the sea? Wanda asked the man. A group of monsters appeared in the sea. They could not help but sink our ship and even attacked us. All my companions are dead. Only I escaped with my life. Yi looked at the way the other party lowered his head and his eyes flickered slightly, and knew that the other party hadn't told the truth at all. Why do those monsters attack you? Yi asked lightly. I don't know why they did this, but please help me. I'm afraid they'll find me, and they're still chasing me before I show up around here. The man looked panicked. 370. Could this man also be a god of the Amazons? The look of panic on the man's face didn't look like a fake at all. Yi's gaze moved away from him, and then quickly landed not far away, falling on the seemingly calm sea. Not only Yi, but the rest of the people have exactly the same attitude. It doesn't look like anything is different. Gwen looked over the side of the boat and looked down. Just looking at it for a while, her beautiful pupils shrank suddenly, and then the cobweb in her hand was directly thrown towards the bottom of the water. Seeing Gwen's attitude, the others couldn't help but ask, what happened? Soon, they knew what was going on, because Gwen quickly jumped out of the water with a huge amounts of creatures strapped to the cobweb. That's a huge amounts of shark. And 893 on the back of the shark, there is a man. The man held a weapon in his hand, his eyes were piercing, and at the same time there was a hint of menacing in it, which was not simple at first glance. I see that you are just an ordinary person. Why do people who provoke Tao look so extraordinary? Damian looked at the man sitting beside him who had stood up tremblingly, but finally fell back to his original place. The man's face was blue and purple, and he looked like he was about to cry. My companions and I were fishing in the sea as usual, but we were killed one by them. We are fishermen. We have lived by the sea for generations. He said that he is Aquaman and forbids us to fish, but even if it is for our family, we can't really do it. This is to let their whole family wait to die. When Damian heard what the man said, he sized him up carefully. If there was still a little bit of skepticism before, then now, that skepticism is completely gone. It seems the man is telling the truth. Aquaman, are they the same as Diana? Could it be the god of Amazon? Damian's brain was thinking quickly, and then he looked at Yi and his party calmly. He wanted to know what choice Yi would make in this situation. The man who was pulled up from the bottom by Gwen didn't look very good. He could feel that the energy fluctuations of these guys protecting men were very different. Gwen was lucky. Because of her random movement, Aquaman Arthur Curry was pulled up from inside. When Aquaman frowned fiercely, the cobweb on his body almost broke in response. Gwen was very surprised and took 2 steps back uncontrollably. Wanda next to her stepped forward almost immediately, stopping her immediately. Wanda whispered to Gwen, I'm fine. It's just some accidents, nothing else to worry about. I'm Aquaman Arthur Curry. Hand over the man you are protecting. This guy has committed an unforgivable crime. I must make him pay the price. If Aquaman and the others met just ordinary people, they would definitely pull them away without any hesitation. But these people in front of you, just because he hunted the creatures of the sea? Yi spoke lightly, as if he was talking about a very ordinary thing. This attitude makes Aquaman very angry. What do you mean? Do you think the lives of creatures in the sea are not that important? It's just the jungle of the jungle. Yi does not favor anyone. He just stood in the middle and spoke at an angle. Big fish eat small fish, big shrimp eat small shrimp. You want to control? The birds in the sky sometimes hunt on the sea. Do you want to take care of it? Because of the risk of marine life, why don't you tell the fishermen and ordinary people who die in the belly of fish every year? Fishermen fish. If they don't catch, They can't survive in this world. The weak are prey to the strong. Some fishermen may be doing too much. They don't know what rest and recuperation is, but I don't think such behavior is wrong. When Suyi said this sentence, his tone was always light and light. It's okay if it doesn't make sense, but what he said is quite reasonable. It caused a group of people on the seat to fall silent uncontrollably. If I'm not mistaken, you see people also eat fish and shrimp. Why are big fish fish and small fish not fish? They are not your people anymore. When Suyi opened his mouth again, Aquaman Arthur blushed instantly and his neck was thick. However, Suyi seemed to feel that provocative words were not enough. He just hesitated for a moment, so he opened his mouth again. Because of the difficult life in the past, coupled with some personal hobbies, it is true that people cannibalize people. But this kind of number is small after all. But your sea people seem to be very different. Almost everyone eats shrimp and fish. Suyi was only talking about this, and in the next second, some of those riding dolphins and white whales on the sea seemed to be unable to bear it, and directly aimed at Suyi and attacked. Suyi stopped the opponent just by raising his hand. For the opponent's sudden attack, Suyi was not angry, but the rest of the people couldn't help getting angry, especially Gwen and Wanda. As Suyi's two women, hurting Suyi is more irritating than hurting them. So, the two of them rushed towards the sea almost immediately. A war seemed necessary. Although Wanda and Gwen are very strong, Marvel still feels uneasy against the strong in the DC world. Suyi seems to have a calm expression, but she really cares about her woman. His eyes narrowed slightly. Once the situation is a little bit wrong, he will do it directly. But obviously, Aquaman didn't mean to be 3.0 enemies with them. Just a few rounds back and forth, pushing Gwen and Wanda back to the cruise ship. Gwen and Wanda wanted to fight again, but Suyi directly raised his hand to stop the two of them from moving. Stop. Suyi just said such a sentence very easily, and Gwen and Wanda, who were about to say something and do something, stopped almost immediately. Sue, although that person is very strong, we still have the power to fight. Wanda's chaos force surged in the palm of her hand, and she thought even if she really can't do anything to the other party, she must let the other party take off for a while. It's a pity that Suyi's attitude is very positive. Even if they have other ideas now, they can only listen to Suyi's words, stop temporarily, and no longer face it as an enemy. 371. We are the same kind, aren't we? Please help me. Aquaman over there couldn't help but heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the two women had finally stopped attacking and would no longer charge over suddenly. And it was precisely because of this situation that he realized one thing more clearly. That is, the person who just said such a nasty thing is indeed the person they are leading. Aquaman frowned. His tall and straight figure was so conspicuous above the sea water. Under the sunlight, it was like a layer of light. I don't mean to be your enemy. Aquaman was really angry before, but now he has calmed down completely. If you just kill adult fish and shrimp, you will win and lose. I have nothing to say, but these guys. It was hard to calm down, but when Aquaman said something, his face became gloomy again, and his voice became tense. They hunted and killed the cubs, in order to harm the cubs to achieve the purpose of capturing adults. There are countless cubs killed by them. Do you really want to protect such a cruel person? Suyi raised her eyebrows, not feeling much about what the other party said. After all, there are 27 people of all kinds in this world. Wouldn't it be too much to say that these people hunt sea creatures? They are not of the same race. Although the method is a little cruel, it is not too much. So, you intend to kill him? Definitely. Aquaman's tone was very affirmative. I'm the king of the ocean, and I exist to protect the ocean. I can allow humans to fish, but I absolutely cannot allow the other party to use such despicable methods. Aquaman Arthur Curry's tone was extraordinarily serious, and his eyes were extraordinarily firm. Now, all the pressure is here. Everyone is wondering what Suyi will do next. Suyi was silent for a while. There was panic in the eyes of the ordinary fisherman. He knew that the person who decided his life and death must be Suyi, so he rushed to him almost immediately. Please, don't hand me over to him. I will be killed. Damn, we are the same kind, aren't we? Please help me. For 3 days, I will hand him over to you. I don't care what you do, but he must have a life. In this way, Suyi likely decides whether the fisherman will stay or not. Ignoring the other party's pale face, Suyi said naturally, adults have to pay for what they do. If Aquaman you agree, then we'll be sure. Can. Aquaman thought for a moment before agreeing. There was even a bit of regret in my heart. Maybe, in the first place, they shouldn't have let the other fisherman die. Obviously, being tortured alive is much more comfortable than being dead. Hearing that the other party had agreed, Suyi picked up the fisherman on the deck of the cruise ship who seemed to want to escape without any hesitation, and then threw him far away in the direction of Aquaman. Aquaman's eyes relaxed, and he was just about to take him over. But he didn't expect that in just a blink of an eye, the person who should have fallen into his hands was rescued by others. The man was holding the fisherman with one hand, just like that floating in the air. When seeing each other, others are very surprised. Diana, Why are you here? When they were before, they didn't find Diana's existence at all. Could it be that Diana was following them secretly? There, a younger version of Clark Kent raised his hand suddenly. In the distance, a black spot appeared, and that black spot was getting closer and closer, and it could be vaguely seen that it was a cruise ship that was no less inferior to Suyi and the others. It seems that the League of Justice is traveling together. Damian Wayne recognizes his logo. It is also guessed that this may have something to do with the Justice League, Princess of the Amazons. When the eyes of Suyi and his group fell not far away, Aquaman Arthur Curry's eyes fell on Diana more intently, and at the same time he involuntarily looked at the fisherman Diana was carrying. Why are you doing this? This man should be at my disposal now. No one is going to be able to deal with him casually, for whatever reason. Diana's tone was very positive. And the cruise ship of the Justice League is also approaching. When they knew the deal between Suyi and Aquaman, they couldn't believe it. Sue, why did you make such a decision? These are human beings. Don't we exist to protect those weak people? So it doesn't matter whether the other party is doing the wrong thing or doing the right thing? Suyi's tone was light. Diana frowned fiercely. She is just to support our family. It's nothing more than right or wrong, no matter from which angle you look at it. I don't think so at all. Suyi still smiled lightly. Fortunately, his team made such a decision for him. Although they couldn't understand it, they didn't feel that he had done anything wrong. The members of the Justice League and Diana really did not agree with his ideas. Aquaman Arthur Curry still stared at Diana with a menacing look. Suyi looked around and confirmed the situation before slowly asking, Diana, why did you appear in this sea? Suyi didn't think that Diana was following her on purpose. It must be because of something. That's why she and the Justice 747 Alliance appeared here. Diana originally wanted to lie, but when she met Suyi's eyes, she fell silent, then nodded and said, this time it will appear here. It is indeed an accident. We followed all the way when we learned that Joker escaped to the sea. After arresting him, he was planning to return, but found that there was a situation here, so he rushed over immediately, unexpectedly seeing you at this moment. Diana also had mixed feelings when she saw Suyi. But when it's time to save, you still need to save people. You can't just take a detour just because you see Suyi. Looking at your appearance, are you planning to take Joker into prison again? When Suyi said this, he couldn't help but smile. To arrest Joker, of course he will be locked up in the police station. When Diana said these words, her tone was extremely affirmative. However, his affirmative tone made Damian Wayne not far away sneer. It's funny. Regarding their actions like this, Damian was the one who couldn't bear it the most. Anyway, Joker will still escape when he gets to the police station's prison, so what's the point of catching him? When he said this, Damian's eyes gradually became fierce. Instead of doing this, let me give you a choice. Just die in this sea area. 372. I want Joker to stay in this sea forever. As long as the Joker is killed, then there is no need to worry about the next thing. While they were talking, Billy Batson came over. When he saw Suyi, he was still very happy. But when he saw that something was obviously wrong, he couldn't help frowning. What's wrong with you? Are you arguing? What's the fuss? He couldn't help pouting, although he looked like an adult, but he was just a child in essence. Glancing at Billy Batson, the others ignored his intentions, and children should let some things go. The problems that adults can solve are naturally left to adults to deal with. Joker can't die. No one can decide a person's death, like this fisherman. While speaking, Diana put the fisherman back on the cruise ship. He definitely felt that what he did was correct, and the others were not so important. Seeing the fisherman return to the cruise ship again, he couldn't help laughing again. On the surface of the sea, Aquaman, who had already reached a cooperation with Suyi, was very unhappy. He had actually been observing just now, and at the same time, he also observed that Diana and the League of Justice and the man named Suyi in front of him should not be in the same group. Suyi is a good person, but Diana, even a member of the Justice League, is not like this at all. Worried that something might go wrong with Suyi, he said loudly, Suyi, if there is no problem, let's cooperate. When Aquaman said these words, his tone was serious. Suyi turned his eyes towards Aquaman, and responded loudly, okay. As Suyi's voice fell, the calm sea suddenly surged. A big guy seemed to float up from under the surface of the sea, and its long tentacles suddenly protruded from the surface of the water, making crackling noises in the air. Seeing this scene, on the cruise ship, both Suyi's staff and the Justice League staff who had already approached on the other side were stunned. What is in the bottom of the sea is really unexpected. Suyi, I want to do something, but I don't know if you will support me. When everyone was attracted by the sea monster on the sea, and Wayne suddenly approached Suyi silently. Suyi quickly looked away, and landed on Damian Wayne beside him. What do you want to do? On this sea, I want Joker to stay here forever. Damian Wayne can't remember how many Jokers have caused so much trouble in Gotham City because of his father's refusal to kill him. Some things, if his father Bruce Wayne can't do it, then he chooses to do it for him himself. I support you very much in this matter, you just go ahead and do it. Suyi thought for a while and continued, although I support you very much, The strength of the Justice League is not low. I will let Clark accompany you there. You'll be fine with him around. The strength of Superman Clark is extraordinary. Even if there is another adult version of Clark Kent on another cruise ship, these two are the same person after all, and I believe they have exactly the same views in some places. That's right. Unbeknownst to anyone, an adult version of Clark Kent and Batman Bruce Wayne had a very heated feud. That guy must die. Now is the best time to get off the phone. The adult version of Clark Kent stared at the tightly bound Joker. His eyes were extraordinarily fierce. If you don't do it now, wait until you really get off the boat. Accidents are bound to happen. We are not qualified to solve a person at all. No qualifications? You always say this. How many years have I known you? Clark, don't quarrel with me here. The quarrel between us will only make people laugh. Bruce Wayne didn't want Clark to have a dispute with himself at all. He knew that many people in the Justice League didn't agree with some of his actions. Although they didn't say something clearly, he just knew it. If we don't even have a bottom line and no principles, then we are likely to encounter some major crises. The reason why the Justice League has justice is that it will never hurt others at will, even if that person is dangerous. And there should be laws to decide. After finishing speaking, seeing that Clark Kent still had a disapproving look, he directly grabbed the other party's arm. If there is any problem, let's go outside to talk, and we still don't know what Diana saw. Something bad happened, so pay more attention to it. Clark Kent's face was still gloomy, and he looked back at the tied Joker one last time. Joker's mouth was gagged, but the gloating look made people angry. Not long after they left, a younger version of Clark Kent and Damian Wayne entered the place where Joker was being held. Damian Wayne didn't talk nonsense at all. He walked directly towards Joker, picked up a sharp dagger, and stabbed him hard several times in the chest. Fearing that the other party would not die so easily, he wiped it on the other party's neck again. While Damian Wayne does this, a younger version of Clark Kent is turned away. When he saw Damian Wayne strike hard, he felt a little unbearable, so he didn't look at it. Okay, we should leave too. After killing the Joker with ease, Damian Wayne is in a good mood. Manos, just as they were about to leave the door, eager footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. Damian Wayne, who was planning to find a place to hide, stopped immediately. Why do you want to hide from the army? He didn't do anything bad. Damian, did you kill someone? Bruce Wayne said in a very bad tone. Damian Wayne didn't even have time to throw away the murder weapon. Seeing his father, he shrugged his shoulders indifferently. Isn't this obvious? After finishing speaking, he casually threw the dagger in front of Bruce Wayne, as if he was provocative. I did this for your own good. After all, your behavior has already offended the Justice League. Very dissatisfied. Damian Wayne was even smiling when he said this. 373. Opinionated Batman. However, for Damian's response, it was Batman Bruce Wayne who grabbed him by the skirt of his shirt, and then suddenly pressed him against a wall next to him. The cold wall made Damian Wayne a little uncomfortable, and the pain of his back suddenly hitting the wall made his face slightly twisted. It can be seen how hard and angry Bruce Wayne is. What? Are you angry that I killed someone? Do you still want to kill me? Damian Wayne spoke with a smile, not taking Bruce Wayne's attitude to heart at all, and he didn't care at all. Damian, I really regret letting you stay by Su-Yi's side. This is how he taught you during this time, let you kill people at will. Killing at random? Me? Damian Wayne raised his hand and slammed Bruce Wayne's hand away. Immediately, he coughed hard twice. It's okay not to mention this matter, but when it is mentioned, I can't hide my anger. It was you, father. No, Batman, Mr. Bruce Wayne, or the Savior. When Damian Wayne said these words, he paused every word, and every word he said revealed the current anger, because of your so-called persistence. How many people died? Don't you have any idea about this matter? If I kill Joker alone, 880 can save countless people who will die because of him in the future. I think it's worth it, but what about you? Your insistence on not killing has killed countless people. How many people died because of him and were injured because of him? Mr. Bruce Wayne, don't you have any idea? What qualifications do you have to scold me? Seeing Damian Wayne's angry expression, Batman Bruce Wayne, who was still very angry, gradually didn't know what to say. Anyway, the Saints are wrong. In the end, all he could hold on to was this one thing. You should ask other people in your League of Justice, how many of them support your statement and practice, knowing that if Joker is arrested and imprisoned, he will escape one day sooner or later. Do it over and over again. No one is going to be happy about doing it for nothing. Damian Wayne was almost calm when he said this. He didn't have the hysteria before, nor the anger before. When he mentioned this matter, his tone was almost calm, but soon his voice changed, and the taste of sarcasm made Batman Bruce Wayne feel a severe pain in his heart. He thought of the discussion between himself and Clark Kent in the previous time. Clark asked him to kill Joker, thinking that if Joker was caught on the shore again, he would definitely escape, and the next thing would happen again and again. As for the rest of the people, although he didn't ask, they must have the same attitude as Clark Kent and Damian. Did he really do something wrong? Were all his insistences in the past really wrong? Batman Bruce Wayne visited himself in his heart over and over again. But he was only in a daze for a moment about this, and soon he became firm again. Everyone needs to have their own persistence. I never feel that I have done anything wrong, and I will not regret it. If you didn't do anything wrong, you won't regret it naturally. It seems that you and I really are not the same way. Finding that he had no way to convince the other party, Damian stopped talking. Anyway, his goal today has been achieved, and it's time to leave. He let the young version of Clark Kent take him away. He thought his father, Batman Bruce Wayne, would stop him a little, but the other party did not. This avoids some unnecessary things, which is quite good. On the other side, Billy Batson and Diana were fighting with sea monsters emerging from the sea. Suyi's cruise ship was deliberately avoided by the sea monster and did not suffer any damage. Obviously, everything is under Aquaman's control. Chad, put the sea monster away quickly. I have no intention of being your enemy at all. Diana just felt a headache. This sea monster is really difficult. It doesn't mean to be our enemy. That is to say, if I want to take that fisherman away, you won't stop it. Aquaman Arthur Curry said so. However, just after his words fell, Diana interrupted him. We will never allow you to hurt ordinary people. When Diana said these words, her tone was very firm, and this made Aquaman Arthur Curry even more dissatisfied. Over there, Sui leaned on the deck of the cruise ship, watching everything that happened in front of her. Harvey Dante couldn't help asking, do you really need our help at this time? Help? Which side are you going to help? Aquaman, or the Justice League? When Sui said these words, his tone was indifferent, and he didn't even move. It seemed that he didn't want to interfere in this matter at all. Hearing what Sui said, Harvey Dante fell silent all of a sudden. Indeed, the current situation is not easy to intervene or help. He doesn't want to side with the Justice League, but he can't step in with Aquaman to help them either. Then what to do? Harvey Dante is still sensible. He knows that this matter does not seem to end so easily. Stay on the sidelines first, and then you will know what will happen and what you can do. When Sui said these words, his tone was extraordinarily serious. Harvey Dante just glanced at Sui, and then looked away. Huge amounts of sea monster tentacles on the sea are dancing very powerfully. Diana and Billy Batson acted separately, and the past attacks would be directly bounced back. They couldn't do anything to the sea monster at all, and sometimes the attacks that bounced back wouldn't be aimed directly at him. This is simply too dangerous. Even after much deliberation, they couldn't think of a suitable way to deal with each other. Everything is in a passive situation. This sea monster is really too difficult to deal with. What the hell are you going to do? When Diana asked about Aquaman Arthur Curry, she was a little angry. Hand over people, and don't stop us from leaving. Everything went. Originally, this matter had nothing to do with the members of the Justice League, but they themselves wanted to emerge from other places. It's only natural that Aquaman Arthur Curry would be angry about this. 374. The Atlantean army on the coastline, especially this Diana from Amazon, has many helpers. Aquaman didn't think he would admit defeat, but seeing Sui and his party not far away leisurely watching the fun on the cruise ship, he gradually felt a little bit unhappy. Shouldn't we belong to the same country? What are you waiting for? Don't make a move at this time. We are human beings. There is no reason to fight with our companions. The young version of Clark Kent heard what Aquaman said after returning with Damian Wayne, and he chose to respond almost immediately. Just for a moment, the swallowed Aquaman Arthur Curry was speechless, and this time suddenly came an adult version of Clark Kent. Aquaman Arthur Curry's eyes almost fell on the younger version of Clark, and then on the older version of Clark Kent. Are these two brothers? It seems that is not the case. However, these are not so important so far, because someone has to come up suddenly. Aquaman Arthur Curry's rage starts to pile up. These guys on the shore are really too much. One by one is deliberately bullying them. Is there no one in the sea? Although he only had such an idea at first and didn't even get any verification, it was enough for him to make the next decision. The Justice League suddenly received the latest news. On the coastline, there are many well-equipped and menacing people surrounding the coastline. Their appearance caused all human beings to feel extremely panicked. I couldn't help but have a lot of doubts in my heart. Why do they appear? What is their reason for appearing here? No one knew what was going on until those who guarded the coastline told the reason. Let all the members of the Justice League get out of the sea. When such a sentence came out of one person's mouth, everyone else knew what was going on. After the people of the Justice League knew about this for the first time, they immediately confronted Aquaman Arthur Curry. You did all these things? When Diana asked about this matter, her voice was scheming. Such a scene was completely beyond what he had originally thought. It was simply something he didn't want to happen. That's the army from Atlantis. Do you really think that I can only act under the sea? There are quite a few forces on the shore that belong to me. Aquaman Arthur Curry's tone was full of confidence when he said this. Apparently all of what he said was true. Because of this, the people of the Justice League gradually became vigilant looking at Aquaman Arthur Curry. This situation is not what they expected to happen. Remove your men from the shoreline at once. Diana shouted at Aquaman Arthur Curry. Aquaman shook his head. As long as you can withdraw from this sea area and stop meddling in my affairs, then I will naturally withdraw my people. All things have two sides. It's not Diana who can do whatever they want. Help me, forgive me. When everyone's eyes fell on the fisherman on the cruise ship, the fisherman seemed to feel something, and almost immediately knelt down for help. If he is handed over to this Aquaman, he will definitely die and eliminate, just like his previous companion. He was almost extraordinarily certain about this. It is precisely because of this that he will never give up this only opportunity he has. The people of the Justice League will not let themselves be completely thrown away. With a more mournful voice, he begged Diana and other members of the Justice League to save him. In just a few minutes, very serious demonstrations took place on the shore. There is even more uproar on the internet. What is going on with these members of the Justice League? What kind of heroes are they? They actually brought such a big crisis to ordinary humans like us. If it weren't for them, some things would never have happened. They are not heroes, but disaster stars that bring disasters to us humans. The voice of protest became louder and louder, and the people of the Justice League who were originally stationed in Gotham City gradually had no way to resist the current situation. Asked for flowers. They immediately contacted Bruce Wayne and his party. And the situation on the sea must end immediately. Originally, Soo-Yi didn't intend to intervene in this matter, but the matter seemed to be a bit big. Obviously it was just a very small thing at the beginning. There was a silent sigh, and then in the eyes of the anxious League of Justice, and the eyes of Aquaman Arthur Curry, Soo-Yi stood up. Could it be that you plan to help people from the Justice League fight against me? Aquaman originally thought that Soo-Yi was with him. But after thinking about it later, I realized that Soo-Yi is also a human being after all, and it is normal for human beings to help human beings. On the contrary, if they help him, it seems abnormal. No, I didn't intend to help them. I'm here because I want to find a way to get the best of both worlds. At least let today's trivial matter be completely over. Soo-Yi smiled and looked at the two people. If you have no objections, just hand over this fisherman to me. Don't worry, I will make both of you have a satisfactory answer, and I won't let him any harm, but it will definitely give him a very serious warning, at least. Let them know how to fish reasonably, okay? After a pause, he then continued to speak. If you agree with what I said, then take a step back. The people of the Justice League and the inhabitants of the sea all set their eyes on Soo-Yi. This should have been very stressful for Soo-Yi, but he was not affected by it, and he was still smiling. Under such circumstances, the others took a deep breath and said nothing more. In fact, Aquaman Arthur Curry also felt that it was a small matter that caused too much trouble, but the people on the other side of the so-called League of Justice were not relentless, which made him very angry. Now that someone has come forward to solve this matter, then he has no reason to disagree, so he nodded slightly. I don't have any opinions on my side, and I will leave it to you to deal with. He believes that this person named Soo-Yi will give him a satisfactory answer. However, the people of the Justice League, headed by Batman Bruce Wayne, do not agree with them. 375. Resist the existence of the League of Justice. This fisherman obviously did nothing wrong. What kind of punishment does he need? When Bruce Wayne said this, people couldn't help being angry, and he himself had just encountered Joker being killed by his own son. One person who is even against himself is Soo-Yi, who once thought he would become a good friend. One is a real close friend, Harvey Dante. The other is his son Damian. There's also a younger version of Clark Kent. He knew almost all the people here, but no matter how much he knew, it would have a great influence on him, and he didn't want these people to be in a situation where they were in opposition to him, and he would feel extra angry because of this. Father, what kind of chaos do you want to make this world into? 747 before you are willing. It is the most reassuring thing for this fisherman to hand over to us. Aquaman Arthur Curry has agreed. I really don't know why you disagree. Look, everyone outside is talking about your Justice League story. Say you're doing it wrong. Do you still have to plug your ears with cotton until now, so you can't hear anything? Even if those criminals are dealt with, it's a normal thing. The police can kill people by mistake, and superheroes can also kill innocent people. Why can't you do anything here? Among all people, except for Clark Kent lamenting Bruce Wayne for saying something, only Damian Wayne dared to say these things so bluntly. Bruce Wayne looked around at the people around him. He found that no one really agreed with his approach. At this moment, he couldn't help questioning himself again. Did he really do something wrong? He absolutely did not. He flew directly towards the shore. He will prove himself right. Since the others are unwilling to retreat, wouldn't it be enough for him to repel all the Atlantis army? Diana and the others looked at Bruce Wayne's leaving figure and couldn't help feeling worried, so they hurried after him. Aquaman Arthur Curry slowly sank from the surface of the water with his subjects. When he finally disappeared, he said to Soo-Yi, "Then the next thing is up to you." He still believes in this man named Soo-Yi, and it is obvious that the conflict between Soo-Yi and the League of Justice seems to be even greater. Aquaman wasn't much interested in what was next either. Soo-Yi gave Arthur Curry a slight nod, and had the fisherman tied up and thrown directly into the warehouse. To be honest, Soo-Yi also felt that Bruce Wayne was really meddling. Obviously, the mistake made by this fisherman is neither big nor small. In fact, as long as Arthur Curry is taught for a few days and then put back, this matter will be over. But they want to intervene and complicate the whole thing. Now there are troubles everywhere on the shore, all of which are aimed at the League of Justice. The League of Justice is in big trouble now. I hope they can get through it smoothly. Soo-Yi thought about it casually, and then the cruise ship started to return. Originally, I wanted to spend a few more days on the sea, but I didn't expect to encounter such a thing not long after I went to sea. After that, even if I want to play again, other people have no thoughts. It's better to do nothing. Go back and have a good rest. When they returned to shore, Yi took care of the fisherman first. He asked where the other party lived, and even some things he had done in the past. Basically, how to deal with each other has been finalized. In fact, these are not difficult. Yi only dealt with it for a few days, and quickly finished the matter. However, even in the past few days, the resistance against the League of Justice is still going on. Among them, there are even many other forces fishing in troubled waters. I just want to take this opportunity to directly overwhelm the League of Justice. It also made the entire Gotham City reflop. The members of the Justice League are actually demons. They have done so many things during this period of time, but none of them are for the good of the people. The hero of P is just playing the brand of justice. In fact, everything he does is not what people do. In Gotham City, the Justice League is actually making trouble. All kinds of dirty water were poured on the Justice League. The Justice League is all a mess right now. They have never felt so vicious that those people who have been protected by them will be so vicious. When they were dealing with this situation, they accidentally hit some people because they did not control the strength of their hands. And these people are afraid and angry. In the end, this incident seems to have affected the country. Yi hasn't been affected by anything these days, just go to work normally. On this day, a very unexpected guest came to the psychological consultation room. Not Bruce Wayne but Commissioner Gordon. He sat opposite Yi, feeling very complicated. I didn't follow the advice you gave me before. I thought, maybe I did what you said in the first place, and it might have been over. It will never get to the point of 2.9 like it is now. Yi looked at him with calm eyes. In fact, I already knew about Joker's movements, and I told Bruce Wayne, you have to know, finding Joker is something Bruce Wayne is very obsessed with, and I believe him. I have always believe in him. He did not disregard my trust in him. Passers-by caught him. Gordon spoke very quickly. Joker is dead. Yi suddenly said this. Commissioner Gordon froze for a moment, then smiled. It's just that the smile was a bit bitter. You're right. The Joker is dead, and it's said that Damian did it. Damian, 376. The bastard who fishes in troubled waters on the internet. Yi disagrees with Director Gordon's statement. Even if the other party escapes from prison time and time again, do you think it's okay? When Yi said this, his tone was light, but after Director Gordon heard it, his expression seemed a little subtle. He suddenly raised his hand to cover his forehead. He has actually discussed this matter with Yi, and also said that Bruce Wayne discussed it, and even discussed it with his own daughter. Everyone's ideas are different, and we can't say right or wrong. I'm not here today to find out who's right or wrong, but I want to know something or ask you something. After pondering for a while, Director Gordon felt a little embarrassed, but he still spoke to Yi. The situation in the whole Gotham City seems to be out of control now. Is there any way for you to change the current situation? After Director Gordon finished speaking, he looked at Yi cautiously, looking forward to his next answer. 27 However, Yi's reaction at the moment was expressionless. Dr. Sue, what's wrong? Director Gordon swallowed and asked, are you sure you'll really do what I say this time? When Yi said these words, his tone was almost calm. Director Gordon also knew that what he had done before would really make people angry, but he had no choice but to do so. If he had known it would be like this, maybe at the very beginning, he should have asked his daughter Barbara Gordon to come and clarify certain things with Yi. Maybe this will make it easier to talk, instead of being so embarrassing like this. However, the matter is right in front of our eyes. No matter how much hesitation there is, it must be settled at this time. So Director Gordon didn't speak at all when Yi didn't speak, but just waited patiently. Anyway, no matter how bad the situation is, no matter how dissatisfied you are with yourself at will, you should not drive him out directly. Director Gordon had such an attitude when facing Yi. It's actually very simple to change the current situation. I believe the Justice League and even you are trying to control it. The first is the wind direction on the internet, which is mainly manifested in the League of Justice's actions against ordinary people. This has caused many people to doubt the existence of the Justice League and the heroes. You must apologize. Yi said the first thing slowly. Director Gordon was only silent for a moment, and then nodded vigorously. You are right. Under such circumstances, there is no other possibility except an apology. This is not difficult. Director Gordon said this. Yi shrugged his shoulders, and continued, netizens are all geese who follow the wind. When some people say, superhero is good, they say yes. And if someone says that these heroes doing all the bad things is actually not what it seems on the surface at all, so they will also have doubts about it. So they must find out the people who hide behind and deliberately discredit the Justice League and the police. But this may be very difficult. Disaster. When Yi said these words, Director Gordon nodded almost immediately again. You are right. The situation is indeed like this. Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent talked to him about it. It is very difficult to find out all those who fish in troubled waters on the internet and deliberately attack them, because there are really many forces that have infiltrated this incident. There are several forces originally in Gotham City, There are also national forces, and there are also foreign forces. It's all messed up, and it's all mixed together, making it impossible to tell the difference. Director Gordon was very worried about this aspect, and he couldn't help expressing the worry in his heart. Since you can't distinguish clearly, then you don't need to make a clear distinction. Wouldn't it be good to pull out all these forces? When Su-Yi said this, he smiled silently, and then continued opened the mouth. But it's very rare, and it's not something that can be done so easily. Director Gordon said again. When Su-Yi heard this, he didn't say anything. Anyway, he had already come up with all the ideas that should be made. As for whether the other party found it difficult or not, it seemed to have nothing to do with him. After only a pause, Su-Yi continued to speak. Actually, there is another very easy thing to do. What's the matter? Director Gordon asked excitedly. Things happen that affect the entire planet, things that no one but you can do and fix. In order to survive, no matter what those ordinary people are thinking in their hearts, they must compromise, and you even have to ask for your help. Human nature is selfish. Sometimes for the sake of my own life, some other principled issues don't seem to be so important. The last point has no effect at all. Director Gordon couldn't help frowning. The things you said are indeed very reasonable, but it is impossible for 953 to discover catastrophic things on the Earth occurring. No, it may happen, so try to control it as much as possible at this time, and wait until there are more serious problems and cover them up. That's good. Su-Yi smiled and said, this is the DC world, where anything can happen and any disaster can happen. In order for these heroes to live better in this world, many dangerous things will happen, and these things are waiting for them to solve. Moreover, a target as large as the Earth is also easily missed by alien creatures. However, I am afraid that no one except Su-Yi will know about this matter, and Su-Yi has no intention of explaining it to him. The worry on Director Gordon's face has not disappeared, while Su-Yi still has a flat look. After confirming that he really couldn't get any news from here, Director Gordon didn't continue to speak. It's getting late, so I should go back now. Director Gordon came with a frown this time, and left with a frown at the same time. This time, Su-Yi didn't even raise her head when Director Gordon left, and kept her gaze on a book of fairy tales in her hand. 377. The dispute between the League of Justice. In the Justice League, the whole team is in a state of desperation, and from time to time they find someone running around in the corridor. This man is Billy Batson. Billy, what's the matter with you? Can't you sit down with peace of mind? Why are you running around constantly? My eyes are almost dazzled by you. I will join the Justice League because I want to be a hero, instead of everyone shouting and beating like a rat crossing the street. This situation is really too bad, and I can't understand it. Accepted. It's not as bad as you think. If this isn't bad, how bad is it? Billy Batson stopped and walked to the conference room step by step. He put his hands on the table and asked everyone present, you have been discussing here, but after discussing for so long, what is the result? You may be right. We have been discussing, but we still haven't got a suitable result. But if we don't discuss it, what can we do? There is no suitable way now. Once he said something, Clark Kent felt his head hurt even more. He didn't want something like this to happen at all. But there was nothing he could do. He couldn't help but set his eyes on Bruce Wayne not far away. After the death of Joker, Bruce Wayne was not in the state at all. Seeing Bruce Wayne's appearance, Clark Kent felt anxious all over. He hated seeing Bruce Wayne like this. Although he should be like this not only because of Joker's death, there may be many other troublesome things, but he feels that Joker's death definitely occupies the most important position in his heart. Director Gordon, please tell us exactly what Su-Yi said. Clark Kent looked at Director Gordon who was sitting on a seat not far away. Commissioner Gordon nodded. Seeing that Director Gordon agreed, Clark Kent pressed Billy Batson on the seat beside him. Although Billy Batson is a child, he is already a sensible child. As a member of the Justice League, it is time for Billy Batson to take on the responsibility. As Su-Yi said, the entire network is now attacking the Justice League very seriously. Although these remarks have had little effect in Gotham City so far, I don't want to turn the entire Justice League into the Injustice League. Director Gordon said this as soon as he opened his mouth, and added in a very timely manner, as a policeman, this is the most unbearable thing. We have indeed dealt with it on the internet, and even specially hired special talents to control speech on the internet. We have no way to deal with the situation outside. But at least Gotham City must at least ensure its relative safety. Diana also added this sentence at this time. If it's just to control the speech of the whole Gotham City, isn't it also completely restricting ourselves to the west of Gotham City? After saying this, the Flash sighed. The situation won't be too bad. Green Lantern knocked on the table. Why not? I'll just warn those behind-the-scenes forces one by one, and when the time comes, those false statements will naturally disappear. Warning one by one? Bruce Wayne, who seemed to be wandering too far away, suddenly came back to his senses, and looked at Green Lantern, with a face full of disapproval. How are you going to warn them one by one? Like Su-Yi and the others? Tie people up and warn them? Or directly killing as a warning? We, the League of Justice, absolutely do not allow such a situation to occur, and you'd better dispel such thoughts. Bruce Wayne said in a dark voice. Although the others wanted to say something, They chose to shut up in the end. In fact, they also knew that the kidnapping was really bad. After all, it was only the person behind the scenes who did the bad things, and it had nothing to do with their family. Moreover, Bruce Wayne is at least cheered up now, and the next step should be smooth. Although what came out of Bruce Wayne's mouth made people feel very unpleasant. Frowning, Clark Kent crossed his arms and couldn't stop talking to Bruce Wayne Avenue. You think the Flash's suggestion is not very good, so what kind of suggestion do you have? Do you think that under this situation, what can we do? Sit and wait, do nothing. Let the League of Justice be captured like this? When Clark Kent said these words, even his tone was impatient. Clark, don't forget that if you hadn't provoked the United Nations, today's events could have been completely avoided. Seeing Clark Kent's attitude, Bruce Wayne's temper is not low. So after talking so much, I finally blame the whole thing on my head. Is it like this? Clark Kent felt that he had had enough of Bruce Wayne's eccentric look. He slapped the table and stood up. If you are dissatisfied with me, I can leave the Justice League immediately. It's all crunch time now. Don't make confrontational situations. No one is going to push you away, Clark. 11. Yeah, you know what kind of a person Bruce Wayne is. He said these things without thinking, and he didn't mean to say that. Sometimes I really hope that what he said really didn't go through. Good Wang Zhao's brain, rather than doing it on purpose. Clark Kent doesn't want to quarrel with each other, but sometimes Bruce Wayne looks really annoying. On the coastline, the army of Atlantis once surrounded us, and even pushed all the crimes on us, the Alliance of Justice. Although it was not stated explicitly, this is the actual situation. Bruce, what are you trying to say? Is it wrong for us to say that Joker's specific location is wrong? Is it wrong for someone to cause disputes and fights with Aquaman? Are you blaming us? I didn't say anything like that. When Bruce Wayne said this, he seemed to realize that he had said something he shouldn't have said, so he shut his mouth almost immediately. Faced with such a situation now, everyone is very unhappy. 378. Sometimes there will be no conflicts if the distance is further away. At this time, Bruce Wayne has to be responsible for every word he says. Don't say some things casually, it will make everyone feel very unhappy. Obviously, Bruce Wayne quarreled with everyone on his own strength. Some of the angry emotions piled up because of Bruce Wayne in the past made them wish they could make some decisions right now. Why don't you just disband the Justice League? I don't know who said such a sentence suddenly, and the rest of the Alliance of Campers fell silent in an instant. Forming a team, an organization is not that difficult. But if one day you regret it and want to find all these people back, it will not be a simple matter. They don't feel it's okay to make such an impulsive decision. They are very against it. I don't want to care about it anymore. If you have discussed it, I can agree with it. The Flash said a few times, and then said in a sullen tone, I'm really fed up with the way things are right now. After the Flash said this sentence, he left almost immediately. Billy Batson also took the opportunity to stand up at this time. If we are going to disband, then it doesn't make any sense for me to stay here now. Maybe I should talk to the doctor. After Billy Batson finished speaking, he looked left and right, and there was not much fear in his eyes. He quickly turned 230 and left. Gradually, other people also left the meeting room one after another. The meeting room suddenly became extremely empty. It's a really bad situation. Clark Kent looked at Bruce Wayne not far away, and said, in terms of leadership, you are not doing so well. After everyone left, Bruce Wayne couldn't help but sweep his hand fiercely on the table, and immediately swept all the things on the table to the ground. Very well, everyone has disbanded now, and there is no need for the League of Justice to exist. Anyway, it has already lost any meaning. Bruce Wayne was angry for a long time in his conference room, and after he was angry, he couldn't help but feel a little regret. He has always felt that he has done nothing wrong, but now almost everyone is reprimanding him and disagreeing with him. Dick? Did I really do something wrong? Bruce Wayne looked at another person who was very low-key, and if he didn't pay attention carefully, he would easily ignore him. He is Dick Grayson, codenamed Nightwing in the Justice League, and also protected his original Robin for a long time by Bruce Wayne's side, Sid. Robin has changed many generations. However, Robin of the first generation has already entered the Justice League and became a member of his companions. You're just sticking to what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with doing it. That's what Nightwing said. Bruce Wayne was a little moved. Sometimes when I think about it, I am afraid that you are the person who knows and understands me the most in this world. Nightwing just smiled at what Bruce Wayne said. It will develop to the point where it is now, and every step is not in vain. Because they are no longer guarding Bruce Wayne, the conflict between them has become less serious. If he continued to stay by Bruce Wayne's side, I'm afraid they might not get along as peacefully as they do now. After all, in some cases, he has to say that he and Bruce Wayne have different ideas. Otherwise, why didn't he continue to make the first generation of Robin? Bruce Wayne is a very poor man. He once witnessed the death of his parents. And he is also a very benevolent person at the same time. He can release criminals without hesitation, just because he doesn't want to kill with his own hands. However, he is also a cruel person. He only strengthens his beliefs and ignores the appeals of many others. The more he stood from another angle, the more clearly Yi could see certain things. After Diana left the Justice League and the somewhat depressing meeting, her heart sank. Why did things get so bad? Why is everything so out of control? She couldn't help but think of Yi at the moment. Yi is the one who gave up on her own initiative. In fact, logically speaking, she shouldn't have given it up. But there is no way. People always have to make a choice. Even if she made this choice, she would regret it constantly in her later life, but at least she felt that the decisions she made were correct. She thought of the first time she was entrusted by the League of Justice to inquire about Yi's identity. I also thought of some conversations between them. Thinking of Yi always smiling every time she faces herself. Never blamed her in any way. Even if she broke the contract this time, she still didn't. Maybe she should have chosen Yi instead of the Justice League in the first place, but it's too late to regret it now. It was time to get off work, so after checking in and finding that there were no good items, he casually threw pearls, emeralds, etc. back into the system package, then put his hands in his pockets and walked slowly on the street. When he returned, he chose to lie down directly. Although there were almost no patients in the psychological consultation room all day today, even just reading a book for a while was enough to make him feel tired. "Sue, are you tired today?" When Yi closed his eyes, he only felt that his temples were being gently kneaded. He opened his eyes to look, and then saw Gwen. Gwen's eyes were very gentle. "It's not very tiring to say that I'm tired, but it's because those people in the Justice League are a little worried. I'm really worried that they will show up one after another in the next working hours." This is not a random speculation, but something that Yi thinks is very likely to happen. At the same time he couldn't help thinking of Diana. The existence that was supposed to be his girlfriend just chose the League of Justice between him and the League of Justice. This is actually not a question of betrayal, but a question of choice. Will he see them again? Yi was massaged by Gwen just like that, feeling extremely comfortable. He closed his eyes again. There were still some things that he didn't need to think about. Anyway, thinking about them didn't have any effect. If something really happens in front of you, wouldn't it be better to think about it later? "Gwen, do you have time?" Yi raised her hand, signaling Gwen not to massage his temples anymore. Gwen let go immediately. At this moment, Yi stood up, grabbed Gwen's wrist, and gently pressed a kiss on the back of her hand. 379. His psychiatric consultation room was burned. Gwen didn't expect Yi to make such a sudden move, and she was shocked immediately. And after being startled, her cheeks instantly turned crimson. "Sue, why did this happen all of a sudden?" "Just wanted it." The two returned to the room in this way and spent a passionate night. Wanda came back not long after they entered the room, but she didn't go in after hearing the movement in the room, but found a guest room by herself to rest temporarily. The three of them have always been together, and will always be together in the future, and they don't need to stay all the time. Sometimes giving each other a breathing space can also make their relationship last longer. The next morning, Yi sat lazily on a rickety chair. There is a cup of hot tea next to him, probably due to spending more and more time in the other world. Instead, it made him miss the original world. But only a little bit. Soon, that nostalgia disappeared. In this other world, he got a lot: love, wealth, and even powerful ability. He even lived freely as he had expected in the past. He has always lived as he pleases, although a small group suddenly formed, but that will not affect him anything. As long as he wants, he can gather these people for his own use. If they don't want to, they can also disperse and won't disturb his life. He can still live his own life as he wants, and without any influence. After just drinking a cup of tea, the time is almost up. Fang Yang immediately got up and walked towards his clinic. Generally, no one will come to the psychological consultation room after 9 o'clock in the morning, and even if there are, such cases are very rare. Originally, Yi thought this way, but he didn't expect that when he was sitting on the sofa watching TV, a person came in hurriedly from outside the door. It is Billy Batson of the State of the Child. As soon as he came, he sat directly beside Yi, and suggested unceremoniously, "Doctor, I want to go back to work by your side." When Billy Batson said this, his tone was very serious. However, Yi just glanced at him, and then refused without any hesitation. "Sorry, I have no plans to recruit people right now." Billy Batson came this time, not to help in the psychotherapy at all, but to join the team formed by Yi. "Doctor, you should know what I mean. I just want to join your team. I know that your team is not large now. If I join it, it will be even more powerful." I reject. Even if Yi is used to doing whatever he wants, he doesn't care about some things at all, but he still doesn't let a boy in his early 10 years do things. Yi didn't mean to set down a child's worldview, nor did she want to leave a heavy black mark on his mind which was like a blank sheet of paper. So he was very serious when he rejected the other party. "But doctor, you really need me." While saying this, Billy Batson coughed lightly. From nowhere, he took out a newspaper, and directly handed the newspaper to Yi's eyes. Yi didn't see any result immediately, but looked at Billy Batson with a scrutinizing gaze, until Billy Batson looked a little guilty, lowered his head and touched his nose unnaturally. Then he withdrew his gaze and continued. Past the newspaper, held it in his hand and flipped through it casually. Many people now know that Joker's death is because of my instruction. Yi quickly flipped through what Billy Batson wanted him to see. Yes, now the remaining forces of Joker must have their eyes on you. When Billy Batson said this, his tone was very tense. Now the Justice League is in a mess because of the previous riots, and everyone is clamoring to disband the Justice League. I feel very happy, but I don't like the atmosphere there recently. I resigned from the psychological consultation room to go to the Justice League, and now I come back and beg you. Do you have a problem with me? Yi shook his head. When a child thinks about a problem, he always thinks about it as soon as he thinks about it, without a certainty. Ask for flowers. But the boy is a good boy. Besides, it was his acquiescence that the other party went to the League of Justice, so naturally he would not have any objections to it. I think it's a good thing for you to stay in the League of Justice. Besides, the other party is only temporarily down, and will soon recover. As a result, the other party is not down yet, so you come to me and say it's not good to do things for me, and it's very disrespectful. When Yi said this, his tone was very calm. Billy Batson blushed a little. He raised his hand uncomfortably and scratched his cheek. It's really a bit disrespectful. Then I'll think about it again. For children, loyalty is more important than anything else. If you don't even pay attention to things like loyalty, you will be looked down upon. Billy Batson stopped talking about this matter, but looked at Yi worriedly. Doctor, many people are watching you now. Will you be in any danger, or should I ask someone from the Justice League to help you? Joker's influence is very extensive, not just a Joker group. Don't worry about it. I have a measure of this matter and know how to deal with it. Although Billy Batson was still a little worried, since Yi had already said so, then he could trust the doctor. Billy Batson just stayed in Yi's psychiatric consultation room for a short while, and he didn't dare to disturb Yi too much, so he found an excuse and left. Yi really didn't pay attention to the influence of those Jokers, but it was precisely because Billy Batson mentioned it that he paid more attention to it. When the assassination happened, when the psychological consultation room was broken open in the middle of the night, it was set on fire. Yi has always been very calm. Not only is it cold on the surface, even those eyes are cold. It stands to reason that even his most important psychological consultation room was burned down, so he must be very angry. But Yi didn't even feel angry at all, as if he was watching a jumping beam Joker. He let them make a fuss in the middle of the night. The flames almost burned the entire sky. Cheers surround billion. 380. Arkham Asylum reactivated. However, they didn't know that Yi, Gwen and Wanda were standing on the tall building from a distance, watching what happened here. I don't know if the fire will affect the nearby shops. Wanda couldn't help but spit out such a sentence from her mouth, and there was a trace of apology in her expression. In Gotham City, similar things always happen from time to time. Since the store will be opened in the city center, if such a good location has nothing to do with it, it is impossible to think about it. Gwen wasn't worried about that. Yi nodded. What Gwen said is very reasonable, and I think so too. He had originally considered changing the location of the psychological consultation room, but now it's just doing what you want ahead of time. Then where will we move to the psychological consultation room next time? 120 so far. Wang Tan and Gwen still don't know what Yi really thinks in his heart. I'm going to open the shop directly on Arkham Street. Yi expressed his attitude almost without any hesitation. This was an idea he had before, but that idea could not leave too deep a mark in his mind. But it was only a short time, and it was completely erased. But now it is nothing more than turning the previous vision into reality, and everything will develop in the direction I want. This isn't going to be a bad thing. There's so much commotion here, the police will soon be attracted. Wanda turned her head to look at Yi beside her. Why don't we just leave now? After all, as long as the new consultation room is recreated, it will take time. Yeah, I'm afraid we don't need us here. Gwen couldn't help but agree. After all, if they really want to go to Arkham Street, the place where they live now may also need to be replaced. However, regarding what to do next, Yi is obviously not far-sighted than they thought. He raised his brows, unable to hide the excitement in his eyes. He looked so happy. Gwen and Wanda next to each other can feel it. Although I don't know what Yi is happy about, but it is enough to see that he has not been affected in any way. They left quickly. When Director Gordon knew that Yi's psychiatric consultation room had been burned to ashes and even involved the nearby store, he brought the police to put out the fire almost immediately. They come very fast. Director Gordon still wanted to contact Yi, but Yi's phone number couldn't be reached no matter what. In this situation, what should be done? He thought of his daughter, Barbara Gordon. I believe that Barbara should be able to contact Yi through Yi's two women. He told Barbara Gordon about it. As soon as Barbara heard what her father said, she took the matter on herself almost immediately, and said that she would definitely notify her two friends Wanda and Gwen about the matter. Director Gordon believes that if this matter is handed over to his daughter, she will be able to handle it properly, and then there is no need to worry about it. so he organized his own police officers to put out all the fires in the city center. The fire was so intense that it was impossible to see what the psychotherapy room looked like in the end. Director Gordon originally thought that Barbara Gordon would call him back immediately after calling to discuss the situation. Barbara Gordon did call Director Gordon back half an hour later, but the content inside was not what Director Gordon wanted to hear. I spoke to Gwen on the phone and she said they already knew about the fire and they didn't care. Not only do they not care about it, they have even moved out of the city center. I don't know where to move. When Barbara Gordon said these words, her tone was always lost. Director Gordon did not hear the loss in his daughter's voice. After hanging up the phone, Director Gordon felt a particularly painful headache. It is estimated that Soo-yi will not appear in a short time. Even if he wanted to find the other party, it would probably be difficult to do so. This made Director Gordon couldn't help thinking, maybe Soo-yi did it on purpose. However, when they came here, they caught people again, and there were even eyewitnesses who proved that everything was done by the remaining forces of the Joker group. These Joker remnants don't know where they got the news, and it is confirmed that Soo-yi led people to kill Oda. As for whether these people know more things, it remains to be verified. Just hope something like this doesn't happen again. Clean up everything here, calculate the damage, and then we can go to the police station. Since there is no way to contact Soo-yi, and Soo-yi is not the perpetrator but the victim, there is no reason for Director Gordon to keep holding on to Soo-yi. Under such circumstances, what Director Gordon can actually do is very limited. He could only temporarily put Soo-yi's affairs aside. But where did Soo-yi go after leaving the city center? Is it still in Gotham City, or is it going to develop in another city? Director Gordon originally thought that the news would be delivered after a long time, but he did not expect that another week later, he would get a message. The news shocked him. Arkham Asylum has been rebooted. Moreover, the director of this psychiatric hospital is Soo-yi. While being shocked by this incident, he simply didn't know how to react. Barbara Gordon was also stunned, and even after being in a daze for a while, she walked outside the police station almost immediately, and then called Gwen. After a while, the phone was dialed. 5.9 Gwen, I heard a news that Sue reopened the Arkham mental hospital. The mental hospital was closed and abandoned. What, has it been renovated? So, is there anything else you need help with? No? Well, I see. If I have time, I will come and see you again. After Barbara Gordon made the call, she returned to her father, Director Gordon. At the moment, the expressions of the father and daughter are almost the same. I didn't expect something like this to happen. It's unbelievable. That's what Barbara Gordon said at the end. After being silent for a while, she said, maybe I have to find some time to go over and take a look, at least to know what's going on over there. 381. All living in a mental hospital. Group activities. It's very dangerous there, Barbara, and I don't approve of your going there. What's there to disagree with? Dealing with little Luo. It's not a difficult thing for me, and even if I don't go there, you will go there. Barbara Gordon paused, then he continued, my relationship with Gwen and Wanda is not bad. If I go there, they can give me more information. I think this is very good. Director Gordon opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end he fell silent. They can't make Soo-yi the second Joker in Gotham City. This man is both true and evil. Although he has not done anything bad, his behavior is too rampant, which always makes people feel uneasy. If you really plan to go to Gotham City to see people, bring more people there. In the end, Director Gordon said so. I see. Barbara Gordon nodded, and she didn't refuse. Anyway, after she actually went to the place, she would be whatever she wanted, without being affected in any way. That. After Barbara 01 Gordon finished talking with Commissioner Gordon, a little policewoman couldn't help but leaned in front of Barbara. That Soo-yi I heard many times before from other people. He is very powerful. Is he a hero too? The little policewoman was transferred from another city. It's an office job. Some things you don't need to know that much. After simply saying this to the little policewoman, Barbara frowned and asked, Harley Quinn, how is the situation now? So far they haven't figured out how to deal with Harley Quinn, so they have been detained in the police station. Recently, the other party has remained very calm and has not had any problems. Under the circumstances, they had to think about whether Harley Quinn had other plans. They have imprisoned Joker and Harley Quinn many times, but each time they can escape smoothly. This time, a lot of troops have been added, so people shouldn't be able to escape so easily, right? Barbara Gordon couldn't help thinking this, and at the same time she walked directly in the direction of the other party. When the people in the police station spoke, their voices were not very strict. So Harley Quinn must have known about Joker's death. I don't know what kind of judgment she will make in at the moment, and what kind of behavior will she make. Barbara Gordon was very curious about these things, and when she was still in such a curious mood, she stood at the door of a cell. In the prison, Harley Quinn was leaning against the wall with his eyes closed, as if he had fallen into a deep sleep. Just when Barbara Gordon was about to leave, the other party suddenly opened her eyes. Those eyes were extremely clear. Obviously, she hadn't really fallen asleep from the beginning to the end. It seems that you already know that Joker, that is, your leader, has died. Barbara spoke coldly. Harley Quinn smiled. Winner and loser, death is something that everyone will experience, but it doesn't matter, he will be resurrected in the future. Harley Quinn didn't take this matter seriously at all. Even when she said this, there was complacency in her voice. No one will be resurrected after death. Although others are saying that Joker has regenerative healing factor, these things are all false. We all know that it is just to deceive some ignorant people. Whether it's true or not, won't you know by then? Why are you in such a hurry? Harley Quinn smiled casually, not paying attention to the other party at all. Compared to this, I'm more curious about that psychiatrist. I heard that he went to Arkham Psychiatric Hospital. Speaking of which, I am very familiar with this place. Barbara Gordon didn't mean to talk about this matter with the other party. She frowned again, then took 2 steps back, and only told the guard next to her, "Be careful, don't let her escape." After saying this, she turned and left. Harley Quinn's fingers rested lightly on her cheek, and although the other party concealed it very quickly, she could still see it. This Barbara Gordon seems to have a crush on Suyi too. Oops. It's really interesting that the person I fancy is so popular. There are also challenges. Harley Quinn couldn't help humming a tune as she thought the future would be even more interesting. The guards outside were very upset when they saw her so comfortable appearance. This guy is really annoying. It would be great if he could completely kill the opponent. When he realized what he was thinking, the guard shook his head vigorously. No, he absolutely cannot think like this. Anyone can think so, but he is Jinglu. After taking a deep breath, the guard fell silent. And on the other side, Arkham Mental Hospital. Here Suyi is looking good after spending a lot of money cleaning it up, and it's still clean. I originally planned to find a nice house nearby to live in, but the Arkham Psychiatric Hospital has a dormitory, which is also very suitable for living. The yard is planted with beautiful flowers, and it looks like it can make people feel better. It's the first time I live in a psychiatric hospital, and this experience is very interesting. Gwen covered her lips and smiled softly. Wanda also thinks so. Not far away, the young version of Clark Kent walked and observed, "If I walk out from here, will people think I'm mentally ill?" He couldn't help complaining. Damian Wayne sneered, "What's there to complain about? Who cares about who lives here? People in Gotham City don't want to take matters into their own hands so much." "I don't have that much curiosity about trivial matters. I'm just talking casually. There is no other meaning." The young version of Clark Kent muffled his mouth. Harvey Dante was walking in the corridor, and at the same time he was walking at the end. He looked at such an environment with subtle eyes. "That is to say, in the future, we may carry out group activities for a long time?" "That's right. Maybe we have to find a few people to guard the Arkham Psychiatric Hospital. After all, we can't make us nervous every day. Although we are not afraid of other people's sneak attack, it will always make people feel unpleasant." "Gone." Wanda nodded in agreement. "Then leave this matter to me." Harvey Dante thinks that he can do this by himself. Although he is no longer working in the lawyer industry, his eloquence has always been good. In addition, his strength is not bad, but he will not encounter any danger just by acting nearby. 382. Harvey Dante was attacked and shot in the stomach. Harvey Dante took the initiative to take this matter on him, and no one would stop it. There's no reason to stop either. So you looked at Harvey Dante and smiled. "Then this matter will be handed over to you directly." Harvey Dan nodded. "I will handle things properly." They spent the next few days in Arkham Asylum. Harvey Dante leaves early and returns late every day, and things are arranged very well. Until one day, Harvey Dante suddenly came back covered in blood. He looked extremely embarrassed. Apart from the bruises on the body, the abdomen appears to be the most severely injured. A younger version of Clark Kent stepped forward almost immediately and asked, "Harvey, what's the matter with you?" "This place is indeed very dangerous." One who was unprepared was shot and attacked. Obviously the injury was very serious, but Harvey Dante was still smiling. He seemed to think it was a very interesting thing to do. The young version of Clark Kent looked at him and smiled, and couldn't help but said, "You are injured so badly, so don't just smile casually. Aren't you afraid that you won't be able to make it back?" All the people gathered around Harvey Dante. "Treat the wound on his body directly." Soon, the bullet in Harvey Dante's abdomen was taken out directly, and the follow-up treatment of the wound will be easier. Fortunately, there was no injury to a more dangerous position, so Harvey Dante only needs to rest for a while, and it will be fine naturally. After seeing that the treatment of his wound was almost the same, only then did the group remember to ask Harvey Dante what was going on. After all, it is almost impossible for ordinary people to hurt Harvey Dante. "It wasn't a normal person, it was Harley Quinn, and she led people to attack me out of the blue." When Harvey Dante said this, a bit of coldness suddenly appeared in his eyes. When I heard these words, the air seemed to start to become colder. "If I remember correctly, Harley Quinn is in jail already?" As soon as Wanda mentioned this, she felt that her headache was severe. "My memory is correct. When we were on the street, Director Gordon had someone take Harley Quinn away. There was no news about Harley Quinn. I thought they had already disposed of Harley Quinn. I didn't expect he escaped from prison again." Gwen couldn't help taking a breath while talking. If they had known that this would be the case, then maybe they should have solved Harley Quinn directly last time. "Joker is like this. Harley Quinn is like this. Those people in the police department are useless at all." Damian Wayne, who personally eliminated the Joker, crossed his arms and spoke in a very unhappy tone. He frowned, and finally he said this, "Or I'll take care of this. I can kill the Joker, then I can kill Harley Quinn." At the moment, Damian Wayne's eyes showed a bit of killing intent when he said these words. When Gwen and Wanda heard what the other said, Japing couldn't help but set his eyes on Su-Yi's body. I don't know if Su-Yi will be soft-hearted towards Harley Quinn. However, Su-Yi's appearance obviously didn't care at all. Wanda coughed twice uncontrollably. "Sue, do you think Harley Quinn has to die?" Others don't know, but Wanda and Gwen know that Su-Yi has another relationship with Harley Quinn. They are still a little worried about this matter. "If you think she is dangerous, then just get rid of it. And this matter is not on me but on Harvey." Su-Yi opened his mouth lightly, and at the same time expressed his attitude, and his words were almost cruel. People who don't know don't think there is anything wrong with what he said. Gwen and Wanda, who knew it, would not say anything more about this matter. "So Harvey, what are you going to do next?" At this time, the eyes of other people all fell on Harvey Dante. "I hope to do it myself, and return the damage that the other party added to me to the other party." Harvey Dante is not a person who can easily forgive others. Not to mention that Joker Harley Quinn is not a nice guy at all. It's just that this guy is elusive, and it's not easy to catch him. Harvey Dante frowned. In the next period of time, he seriously healed his wounds in the Arkham mental hospital. Occasionally, Su-Yi would come over to check on his situation. Seeing that the injuries on his body were almost healed, and he was in good spirits, he felt relieved. He inquired about everything inside and outside the Arkham mental hospital. As expected of a mental hospital, some defensive facilities and soundproofing equipment, and even some other things are done very well. Su-Yi is satisfied. And he even discovered just now that there is actually a large basement space under this mental hospital. This is much better than opening a psychotherapy room in the city center. It's just that although the space in the basement is very large, it is very humid and smells very strong. Originally, Su-Yi thought it might take more time to clean, but because of the people that Harvey Dante recruited, it was very easy for them to clean. But they paid more money only. Su-Yi is not short of money at all, so he is very willing to spend on expenses. Those who came to work here because of Harvey Dante's persuasion, can get a lot of money and work harder. Arkham Asylum was quickly spruced up and organized. Gwen placed the newly bought, some, flowers in the yard, and seemed to be very satisfied with this kind of life and this kind of environment. Su-Yi stood upstairs like this, watching Gwen downstairs struggling to carry the flower pots. Originally, Su-Yi had told Gwen that she could go to help, but just as she spoke, Gwen directly rejected her. Although she was rejected directly, Su-Yi didn't care too much. He chose the largest office in the middle, intending to turn it into a place for future work. If there are people in the future, let them come here directly. Su-Yi thought of everything well. Originally, he thought that the peaceful days would last for a long time, but he didn't expect that Harley Quinn, who had injured Harvey Dent, suddenly came to the Arkham mental hospital one night. It was a rare night. Su-Yi was lying on the bed alone, when he found someone broke into the room suddenly. He remained calm. 383. "You are so cruel to me." Harley Quinn smiles. The slight smell in the air made him know who the person he was looking for was almost instantaneous. Harley Quinn. Seeing the other party getting closer, Su-Yi opened his eyes and sat directly on the edge of the bed. He watched the other party approaching step by step, with an extremely calm expression. Su-Yi was very calm, but Harley Quinn didn't look calm at all. There is a little more emotion on the beautiful and delicate face. "Sue, you are too cruel to me." Harley Quinn leaned against the door, folded her hands on her chest, and spoke in a low voice in the darkness, and even when she said these words, there seemed to be a bit of grievance mixed in. Su-Yi was not affected by the other party's words at all. "Cruel to you? When have I been cruel to you? Your men have been chasing and killing me. It's impossible for you not to know about it. Do you just let him hurt your woman like this?" While saying this, Harley Q even lowered his head slightly. A beautiful woman suddenly said these words. It will really make people feel distressed, but the woman in front of her is not ordinary, and even what she said is not so trustworthy. Su-Yi just watched 640 quietly. Harley Quinn was talking on her own, and she probably didn't think it was interesting in the end, so she closed her mouth, raised her head again, and there was even a smile in her eyes. It can be seen that she has never been sad from beginning to end. "It's really not easy for you to be deceived." Harley Quinn finally spit out such a sentence. Even when she finished saying this sentence, she walked towards Su-Yi directly. "It's getting very late. I think it's time for you to go. If you don't want to go, then you can stay, but this time you don't have to go if you stay." When Su-Yi said this, his tone could almost be called cold. Harley Quinn acted as if she didn't understand what Su-Yi was saying. She even laughed out loud. Happiness was evident in her voice. "What do you mean by not letting me go? You want me to stay and be your woman? Question mark. You know I don't mean that." When Su-Yi said these words, even his voice was stained with impatience, although only a little bit. Harley Quinn has always been very aware of other people's emotional changes. "I'm obviously telling you this very seriously. If you don't want to accept it, then forget it." Su-Yi said this again when Harley Quinn didn't reply. Harley Quinn didn't beat around the bush, and the ridiculous smile in her eyes were completely gone. Don't think about going against the Joker group. You are not our opponents at all. Do you think that if you kill the Joker, everything is over? That's not the case at all. Harley Quinn spoke slowly, saying these words at the time. The tone was almost tinged with a bit of threat. If you shoot Joker, it will only make Joker's eyes completely focus on you, and Joker will return in a few days, and then you will know that what is being done is wrong. For our sake, today is my last advice to you. Harley Quinn turned around and was about to leave, but as if she suddenly thought of something, she stopped, and then turned her head to look back. This time, her eyes fell directly on Soo-yi. If it's not that we are in a confrontational situation now, I really want to sleep with you again. Soo-yi didn't have much attitude towards what she said. Harley Quinn appeared that night, but not only Soo-yi knew about it, other people also discovered it. But because she came for Soo-yi, other people also knew about his relationship with Harley Quinn later, and didn't have much reaction to it. They didn't even stop Harley Quinn when he was leaving, but on the second morning, someone spoke up anyway. It was Harvey Dante who took the initiative to speak, and it was not too much for him to speak at this time. Sue, I know Harley Quinn came for you last night. What is she looking for you for? If other people asked this question, they would definitely feel very uncomfortable, but Harvey Dante was very calm when he asked this question. I didn't think there was anything wrong with what I asked. Soo-yi leaned back on the seat behind him, clasped his hands on his knees, and showed a very lazy state. Looking at the expressions of all of you, I guessed that I had a relationship with Harley Quinn. Don't worry, I'm a rational person. I won't let the whole team get into a bad situation because of personal emotional problems. She told me something yesterday. In a few days, Joker will be resurrected. When they heard what Soo-yi said earlier, the others could act as if they didn't care about anything, but when they heard what Soo-yi said later, none of them could keep calm. Joker will be resurrected. What is going on? I've heard things like this happen before, but it's outrageous. If Joker will be resurrected, and he is really a regenerative healing factor as we heard before, then even if we kill him countless times, it will have no effect. Annoying things always follow one after another. We can't sit still. We have to find a time to find out. I have been dealing with this matter all along, so let me beat him. You can't let you do everything. We will all help. A group of people discussed like this, and soon, they made a decision. The young versions of Clark Kent, Harvey Dent, and Damian Wayne all went to deal with things. As for Gwen and Wanda, they still stayed by Soo-yi's side, just wanting to make a difference. Actions to protect each other. Although Soo-yi doesn't need their protection at all, this doesn't prevent them from having such a thought. Soo-yi knew what was going on in their hearts, and she didn't refuse. I really have no way to understand why Harley Quinn originally had a bright future. As if possessed by a demon, she insisted on helping Joker, and even constantly expanding the ugly group. Everyone has everyone's persistence. Maybe you can't understand, but for them, this is just another very meaningful thing. Soo-yi felt that she could not understand some things, but doing so would not affect anything. 384. Secret Surveillance. The Joker Group. That can only show one thing. If Harley Quinn doesn't have improper thoughts about Joker, that is that Joker's brainwashing function is very powerful. Maybe it's the latter. I didn't see that people in Gotham City, or even other cities, admire Joker a lot. Those people want the whole world to be in chaos. I don't want this kind of thing to happen. It's better to have a quieter life. As long as we secretly monitor the Joker Group, what will happen in the middle will naturally be clear. It can only be done like this. In the following time, they conducted investigations every day. Time passed little by little. Soo-yi couldn't help but rub his forehead. Although he worked in the office of the Arkham Mental Hospital every day, he never had any guests. There are no guests, which is actually something Soo-yi is looking forward to very much. After all, just because he goes to work doesn't mean he expects his hours to be busy. However, when they were monitoring the people of the Joker Group, Joker and Harley Quinn, many people were watching the Arkham Mental Hospital established by Soo-yi. One by one, they had already figured out how to spend their time coming in to deal with him. Soo-yi and his party are not dull people, so after feeling this, they couldn't help but focus on this aspect. There was a bang. Suddenly the helicopter rumbled through the sky. Immediately afterwards, they felt that there seemed to be a big hole in the roof of the Arkham Asylum. Haven't figured out what's going on yet. In an instant, an existence that looked like an alien creature fell down. The whole body is green, and the skin looks like a toad. How nasty does it look? Following his appearance, another person also jumped off the plane and landed firmly on the ground. It was also a man in a green dress with a hat on his head and a question mark. Although the other party covered his eyes, he could still see what he looked like. Who are you? Gwen and Wanda rushed over almost immediately. They swear that once the person who appeared changes, the others will take action without hesitation. They think so. It doesn't matter who we are here to tear you guys apart. The two people who appeared suddenly laughed loudly. Their eyes were very wild. They didn't even say much, and they directly attacked Soo-yi and his group. Wanda was completely confused and completely lost. Where did you come from? Why did you suddenly attack us? You are about to become a dead man. and a dead man is not qualified to know many things. The few people who appeared looked like thugs, and they were very arrogant. They didn't seem to have any relationship with the Joker group, but Yi still said in a very calm tone, "Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn sent you here, right?" Yi's words made the expressions of the two people who appeared very unusual. But how could they admit it? "What are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean by that at all." Both of them directly denied it. But no matter how fast they denied it, when Yi finished speaking, their abnormal behavior was still noticed by others. "Harley Quinn is a damn good guy. Originally, when he appeared last night, we should have known that that guy must have a bad idea. It's just that they didn't think too much about it at the time, thinking that he was really just meeting Yi. But I didn't think that the actual situation was not like this at all. Otherwise how could such a thing happen suddenly?" The Arkham mental hospital was finally established, but it was broken a lot because of the appearance of these two people. Seeing this, Yi just sighed softly. Fortunately, time magic can be used, so there is no need to worry about these at all. At the end of the war, it is enough to restore the building to its original state. Just when they kept fighting, suddenly someone jumped in from the big hole on the roof. This time it was a member of the Justice League. Diana, Incorporated. Kent and Bruce Wayne. When two groups of people look at each other, their eyes are extraordinarily complicated. "We didn't come here on purpose. Harley Quinn ran away. Our last news is that she has been around here. 0. Begging for flowers. They're here to arrest Harley Quinn. Because of your relationship, I escaped from prison." Damian Wayne's tone was very bad when he said this. Once, twice, 3 times. How many times? His eyes fell directly on Bruce Wayne, as if he completely blamed this matter on him. Although this matter should be blamed on Director Gordon's lack of security. But Director Gordon and Bruce are completely from the same country, and it seems that there is nothing wrong with him. Now is not the time to talk about that. Bruce Wayne rushed towards one of the monsters while talking. "Although I never feel that I have done anything wrong, it is better to deal with the two of them now." When Bruce Wayne rushed up, Damian Wayne also rushed up. "I won't bother you, they will leave their affairs to us directly. Well, we will imprison them in Arkham Hospital, tie them here as patients, or kill them directly, whether it is the former or the latter. I believe it is much better than you holding them in the police station." "Damian, why do you hate me so much? I never felt that I did anything wrong to you." "It's your father." 2 against 1 is really easy. That monster is not their opponent at all. Even if the sharp teeth directly bit Bruce Wayne's head, he was quickly smashed to the ceiling by Bruce Wayne's fist. Although it looked very fierce, Damian Wayne noticed that the other party still hadn't killed him. "It's such a stupid compassionate heart. It's ridiculous to watch." Damian Wayne sneered beside him. Yi looked at it for a while, then directly moved a stool, and simply sat in the corner with his legs crossed and watched. He found that there was no need to take action here, but it allowed him to observe these two groups of people more clearly and take a look at their mental state. Oh, please forgive him for still having such a mentality until now. 385. The monster caught him and almost suffocated him. 385. The monster caught him and almost suffocated him. Yi believes that this kind of behavior of observing and watching is actually some small problems of being a psychologist. When the two parties were fighting, they naturally noticed Yi's actions. To be able to move a stool to sit down in such a situation, Yi's mentality is really extraordinary. Harley Quinn, who was observing secretly at the same time, propped her chin with both hands, and happily dangled her calf. "Oh, Sue always surprises me. It's so interesting." The ability of the monster and the ability of another member of the Joker group are very strong. The people of the Justice League and Yi's men are fighting against each other. In terms of numbers, there is no way for the Odar group to compare. But even though this was the case, the two of them still didn't seem anxious at all. Another 273 suddenly jumped down from the roof. The other person had extremely sharp teeth and his whole body was pale white. You can tell at a glance that the situation is not good. Wanda rushed over directly, and after a few minutes of fighting with the opponent, behind him, the young version of Clark Kent just stretched out his hand, and then directly broke the opponent's neck. When the new monster fell softly to the ground, the young version of Clark Kent couldn't help letting out a sigh of relief. "Sister, are you okay?" Wanda was a little speechless. She hadn't had time to make a move yet, so how could something happen? But that's how kids are. Although the younger version of Clark Kent looks about the same age as Wanda, and even vaguely feels older than her, Wanda, Gwen and Yi still treat each other as children. After all, they grew up watching them. "I'm fine, thank you, Clark." Clark was thanked, but there was no overjoyed look on his face. He kept looking at Clark Kent, who was not far away. When the opponent fights, his movements are clean and neat, and his strength is much stronger than his own. Although he has learned a lot from Yi's side recently, when he saw this scene, he still couldn't help but feel lost. He can become stronger, and he can become stronger. The younger version of Clark Kent couldn't help telling himself this in his heart. Just when he turned around to leave, he suddenly felt something was wrong. The monster on the ground had obviously had its neck broken, but for some reason, his fingers moved just now. There must be something wrong. The other party can't be alive. The huge amounts of monster that can envelop them with one hand, although very big, Doesn't seem to be anything special. Clark Kent stood still for a moment, then turned and left. A sudden exclamation sounded directly from behind. Although Clark Kent felt that the matter should have nothing to do with him, but he felt that the attack behind him was indeed aimed at him. At that moment, the expression on his face suddenly became serious. It's so damn good. The monster really didn't die. Clark Kent wanted to dodge with the fastest speed, but he was caught directly. The opponent firmly restrained him with huge amounts of hands. He wanted to escape, but couldn't do it at all because he wanted to break free, but was still unable to do so. Clark Kent's face was congested. Clark, seeing that he was completely under control, the rest of the people rushed towards the monster almost at the same time. No matter from which aspect, they couldn't make things happen to Clark. They are almost in agreement on this point. Yi was originally sitting on a stool, leaning against the wall, crossing his legs, staring at him casually. When they saw that they couldn't do anything to that monster, they frowned fiercely. It's just a monster, why can't it deal with it? Yi originally thought that so many members of the League of Justice and his subordinates were also of extraordinary strength, so there was no need for him to make an accident. It's not to underestimate himself, but sometimes he feels that his strength may indeed be no better than others. And now, Yi stood up from her original position. Very fast, he dodged the huge amounts of monsters, catching and attacking again and again. His dynamics are strong. Although the monsters are also very strong, they can't do anything to Yi. In the next second, Yi's hand was like a sharp blade, and he slashed at the monster's hand that captured Clark Kent. The bright red blood scattered like a waterfall. Clark Kent fell to the ground at once with that huge amounts of hand. Cough cough cough. Unable to restrain himself, he coughed a few times. It looked as if he wanted to spit out all his heart, liver and lungs. How are you? Are you all right? Damian Wayne looks at Superman Clark Kent. Because of the previous joint actions, he has a good impression of the young version of Clark Kent, and they are originally companions, so it is natural for him to send some friendly messages to him. Except for some discomfort in the neck, there is nothing wrong with the rest. The young version of Clark Kent finally returned to normal after coughing hard again. While thinking this way, he involuntarily looked at Yi in the distance. If brother hadn't saved him, he would probably feel even more uncomfortable now. A younger version of Clark Kent was utterly annoyed. It was all his own fault for underestimating the enemy. If he had been more careful, some things would not have happened. This is what he thought in his heart. His hands were clenched into fists, and when he looked at the huge monster, his expression became menacing, and he looked very belligerent. Looking at Clark's appearance in 5.1, the others didn't say there was anything wrong with his appearance. Although some things were unexpected, it wasn't too bad. After getting rid of one of the opponents, Bruce Wayne walked directly in the direction of Yi. His expression looked very complicated. He said to Yi in an indescribable tone, "If you imprison people in the Arkham Asylum, can you guarantee that they will not escape from it?" When Bruce Wayne said these words, Yi and his group were very surprised. Why put people in Arkham Asylum? He is taking in patients, not some criminals. If you want to arrest criminals, it is the most correct decision to hand it over to Director Gordon. 396. The new Luthor is not handy. Bruce Wayne couldn't help sighing when he said this. Superman used to be my most loyal partner. We have always supported each other and done a lot of things. However, we temporarily separated because of some different ideas. And then did he do this thing? Do you have any idea how much of an impact he had on the entire country and the world? If you only rely on the strength of a few people, does this world need anything else? They have killed many officers now just to warn us. So he was threatening us all the time. This is really a ridiculous behavior. Yes, they are a bunch of lunatics. Seeing that Bruce Wayne and Yi seemed to be really negotiable, the others couldn't bear it after all, so they started a heated discussion with each other. There must be order in this world. It's ridiculously tight that the order of a few people will maintain the order of the whole world. Many people in this world are suffering. Definitely, we all know this, but everything is achieved step by step. He can't be perfect right away. Some of the words spoken by the leaders of these countries are for their own private interests, while others are truly for the sake of the world. They were not sure whether what they said would affect Yi and Bruce Wayne, but they feel that these words should be spoken at this time. What you said is correct. It is precisely because of such worries that we came here in person and wanted to reach a cooperative relationship with you. We can sign a contract, and you can announce this contract to the world without worrying about the possibility of our betrayal. Since you have already said this, it must be conditional. Someone asked the exit. They didn't believe that Yi and Bruce Wayne would help them for no reason. We do have conditions. Clark Kent, including all his men, I want us to guard and decide whether they stay or not. When Yi said this, his tone was very serious. That look obviously didn't give other people a second choice at all. The leaders of these countries could not stop swallowing their saliva. They looked at each other a few times. They know that they are at a disadvantage now. If they don't agree, they may not even be able to move, and these superpowers will be able to completely wipe them out from this world. No one doesn't plan for himself when he knows that he has the possibility of death. If it was an act of treason, they would definitely not agree. But it is obviously not to that extent now. They discussed for a long time, and finally they decided to agree because they have no choice at all. Very good, you have made the most correct choice, and the world will restore order soon. Everything that followed was proceeding in an orderly manner as discussed by Soo-Yi and Bruce Wayne. Everything looks so wonderful. Hawkgirl, Cyborg and Green Lantern disappeared one after another. Under such circumstances, if nothing has been discovered, then Clark and others have lived in vain for so many years. Dick Grayson stood in front of Clark Kent. As long as you return to Gotham City and put down everything you're doing now, we guarantee that nothing will happen to Hawkgirl. Clark Kent looked at Dick Grayson with a very bad expression on his face. Obviously you disapprove of some of the things Bruce Wayne has done. I don't understand why you have to stand by his side so firmly. Clark Kent specially invited Dick Grayson when he left with some people. It was just rejected by the other party all of a sudden. The other party didn't even think for a long time. I've never been firmly on anyone's side. Well, maybe it used to be like that. But now I'm just making what I think is the right decision. Dick Grayson smiled. Now, the leaders of the country, the League of Justice, and Soo-Yi, they all choose to stand by and stop your actions. We are doing the right thing. Even if you stop us, we will never regret it, Clark Kent said very firmly. And as the newest member of this team, Luthor, who is also the team's think tank, slowly opened his mouth at this time, a new regime will always be accompanied by bloody progress. Clark, as long as you feel that the road you are taking now is right, all of us will firmly follow your actions. Do you feel that what you are doing is wrong? Seeing Clark Kent standing aside silently, Luthor opened his mouth to ask again. Definitely not. What I do is what I want to do most in my heart. I have experienced deliberation. Clark Kent was interrupted by Dick Grayson before he finished speaking. He directly picked up a tablet computer, and opened the latest news directly in front of Clark Kent. You stopped the war, yet many people are dying constantly because of lack of food. They quarreled and robbed each other. You let women have guns, but they don't know how to use them at all. Thousands of women have all been killed by soldiers. Dick Grayson said this bit by bit. He has actually read these contents many times. Even without looking at the computer, he can memorize these contents. His eyes moved away from the computer, but more focused on Clark Kent's face. He looked at Clark Kent frowning fiercely. That face was as pale as paper. However, before he could finish his words, the man named Luthor removed the computer in his hand, opened it, and said to Clark Kent again, Clark, everything has two sides. That's right, and in the process of your salvation, there are indeed some people who still have no way to change their destiny, and some people even have a bad result, but look at these people. Luthor opened page after page, and they were all about things that Superman had saved. Originally Dick Grayson wanted to say something more, but when he saw the man named Luthor, his eyes slowly lowered. With this man around, it would be impossible to convince Clark Kent. 397. Infiltrating into Clark's organization will only delay time, thought Dick Grayson. The man named Luthor next to Clark must be taken seriously, and he will tell Bruce Wayne and Soo-Yi about this when he returns. Dick Grayson thought about this and didn't stay here any longer. He quickly found an excuse and left directly. After Dick Grayson left, Luthor stopped Clark Kent. Clark, the current situation is very unfavorable to us. Believe it, you should see it. When Luthor said these words, his tone was extremely serious. How could Clark Kent feel nothing about such an obvious thing? The current situation is that Soo-Yi led the team and the Justice League to unite, and they even cooperated with the leaders of those countries. Clark Kent's tone was very bad. I never thought that such a thing would happen. You really didn't think about it before, so you can think about it seriously now. When Luthor said these words, his tone was very calm. It's like explaining a very normal thing. Clark Kent nodded slightly. However, it is impossible for them to pretend that they did not know that other people were arrested. We have to quickly find a way to bring people back. Clark Kent squeezed his chin, and the others were also very worried about Hawkgirl and others. They gathered in a circle and began to discuss how to rescue their companions who had been captured. Arkham Asylum. Soo-Yi almost treats Hawkgirl, Cyborg and Green Lantern with a very calm attitude. Their eyes also fell on Soo-Yi, although it is separated by a prison that cannot be opened at all. But Hawkgirl and others have tried all of them, and they can't open this place at all. When they found that they had struggled many times, but still couldn't get away, they compromised. Anyway, Soo-Yi won't really hurt them. Then they just wait quietly. Besides, in the current situation, they themselves don't know whether it is right or wrong. Maybe it's best to stay here and wait for everything to end. However, if they want to stay here quietly, it depends on whether Soo-Yi is willing or not. If he doesn't want to, he has plenty of time and opportunity to send them all away. One tragic photo after another was sent to them. Now Soo-Yi has also handed them back their communication devices. Give these things back to us now. Aren't you afraid that we will contact our companions to take us away? Vertical bar. Cyborg's voice was low, and he looked at Soo-Yi with complicated eyes. For your actions this time, take a look online. I don't want to say whether what you did this time is right or wrong, but look at other people's opinions. At least you can tell. Before Clark Kent, they may have been dazzled with joy and victory. Even if there are some bad things, it is enough to cover up those good things. But in fact, the current situation is getting worse and worse. and the bad ones often outweigh the good ones. When he explained the matter clearly to Hawkgirl and others, Gwen came over and whispered in his ear, "Bruce Wayne is here." Yi nodded slightly, and then went with Gwen to meet Bruce Wayne in the hall. Besides Bruce Wayne coming here, there's Dick Grayson. Yi remembered the time before, when Bruce Wayne sent Dick Grayson to talk to Clark Kent and the others. Now that the other party has appeared here, it is obvious that the conversation is over. But judging from the other party's expression, it is estimated that the result of this negotiation is not very good. Sure enough, under the signal of Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson said, "There is a man named Luthor next to Clark, and that man has been giving them advice." I noticed that Clark seemed to listen to what the other party said very much. "Those suggestions. Is he an ability too?" Gwen asked curiously. Dick Grayson shook his head. "It's not some kind of ability, just an ordinary person. That's what it looks like. Although some people are not ability users, they are smart enough, and these are more precious than some people's abilities. It's not that you don't care about the other party because they are ordinary people." Yi disagrees with their attitude. There are the most ordinary people in this world. After Yi said these words, he seemed to feel that it was boring to continue talking. "So I have to patiently continue to listen to some things that Jack Grace said, and some of my own opinions. Should we find someone to pretend to be the captured people to go deep into Clark Kent's organization?" Why? They feel that only by going deep into their organization can they know more clearly what they want. When Jack Grayson said this, his tone was very serious, and he had really thought about it. "I don't think this will work." Yi almost denied this point with a single effort. "Why is it so troublesome? Now all of us are working together to arrest all members of Clark Kent's organization. We have successfully arrested 3 people, and the 4th and 5th people are not very difficult." When Yi said these words, he was a little light-hearted. Although he seemed light-hearted and didn't care about anything. In fact, when he said these words, he seemed to give people a big feeling. "Power Patrol. Make it hard for others not to take it seriously." "That's right. Since we've already caught 3 people, it won't be that difficult to catch a few more." The organization that allows people to sneak into Clark's side, Li Liao, will actually only make the plan slower. We split up and believed in Clark Kent and the others, because the disappearance of Hawkgirl and others will definitely attract attention. Maybe they have now figured out how to rescue the 3 of them. As a leader, you must never let your subordinates be arrested, especially when you clearly know about this situation, but still act as if you don't know anything. This will only make the remaining subordinates very chilling. As long as it is a smart and very rational person, it will never make such a decision. When Yi analyzed all the pros and cons with Bruce Wayne and Jack Grayson in front of him, they all agreed and nodded. "Then let's continue to act according to the previous actions." It seems that they spent a lot of time discussing, but in fact they only discussed for a few minutes before they made a decision. 398. Nobody supports Clark Kent. In fact, no decision was made at all. Just keep the status quo. They are still marching according to their own actions. On the other side, Clark Kent, under Luthor's suggestion, put the temporary rescue plan for Hawkgirl and others later, and he explained to all his subordinates very carefully. Although the subordinates feel that it is a bit unpleasant not to put Hawkgirl and others first, they also know that in order to save the whole world, some sacrifices are necessary. What's more, Clark Kent also said that if people are safe in the hands of the Justice League and Yi, then they naturally don't need to worry so much. Moreover, there are also Diana, an old member who has been with Clark Kent, and so on, so the worried mood has become less and less in an instant. Since the old members have said this, there should be no problem. Some things don't change over time. This is for those who are racing against the clock to get it all done. Under Luthor's suggestion, Clark Kent started a series of arrangements. The first thing to arrange is to launch a nationwide live broadcast. This kind of thing is no stranger to Clark Kent, because he has done it many times. I know people are very disturbed by the situation. Trust me, some things will only remain as they are now, and one day it will end. Now with all of us working together, all the wars in the world have become less and less. I believe that the world will become more and more peaceful, and I also believe that I can make everyone live a happy life. Please believe in me and support me. I will definitely do better than anyone else. Soon there will be no more evil forces constantly spreading in this world. I also believe. Superman Clark Kent has been constantly saying these things, but gradually, he found that something was wrong suddenly. The people standing below and listening to the lecture did not have any joy on their faces. Even, there was a hint of ridicule and indifference in their eyes. This is a completely different situation than what Superman Clark Kent had previously thought. If you calm down, you will hear, clearly what they are talking about. It's hilarious to threaten us to come to such a ridiculous speech. What do you mean there will be no dangerous elements in this world? Isn't he the most dangerous element? Haha, the actual situation is like this. I really don't know what face such a person has to say such things. It's good to live your own life. It's hard for everyone to live peacefully. Although there have been many dangerous things happening in Gotham City, it has nothing to do with me. That's right. Originally, everyone agreed that Gotham City is a place outside the law. Those who can't survive will escape to Gotham City. and those who can survive and want to move will also come out of Gotham City directly. Isn't Superman Clark Kent like this? But what is he like now? Ungrateful? I heard that he broke up with his friends in order to achieve his goal of ruling the world. These people with ability are really funny. They want to rule the world, but they have to use ordinary humans like us as a cover. When will we be allowed to leave? It's really annoying. I have a very important meeting today. Clark Kent was very excited at first, talking about some imaginings about the future, but his eyesight is very good, and his hearing is also very good. He suddenly found that the thoughts of ordinary people he understood now seemed to be quite different from the thoughts of ordinary people he understood in the past. They don't seem to care about what the future holds. Don't you want world peace? Clark couldn't bear it anymore, so he opened his mouth and asked, what does it have to do with us? We just want to live a good life now, and the current life is already very good for me. Although the country's leaders are not doing very well, they are already doing well. At least they will definitely not be ordinary people like us, because we have no threat to him. It will make this country chaotic, isn't it, because of you people with super abilities? If no one in this world has super abilities, there will be a lot of peace. The ones you have to deal with are obviously those villains with abilities, but you are directly confronting the country. Do you think you are doing the right thing? Do you really think you can do anything yourself? It's so annoying. Can you let us go immediately? You may know that Superman Clark will not really attack them no matter how you look at it. When they spoke next, they also seemed a little unscrupulous, and they just said what was in their hearts. Clark Kent never thought that what he thought was irrelevant to other people. There is only peace in the world. Clark Kent's face was a little embarrassed, although the situation was a little different from what he thought. Thinking that there was something wrong with what he said, he believed that as long as he did it, these people would appreciate him one day. Clark, are you thinking that as long as you do it, these ordinary humans will be grateful to you one day? Yi slowly walked out from the rearmost position in the crowd. He always has a smile on his face. At his side are Gwen and Wanda. No matter what kind of environment these two women were in, they stood very firmly by his side and never took a step back. And in the hands of these two women, one on the left and one on the right, are each holding a huge amounts of monster. When Clark Kent heard Yi's words, he first set his sights on Yi. It wasn't until they got closer that he noticed the monster dragged by the two women's hands, and his expression became pale immediately. It's different. Such a scene even caused some humans nearby to cover their mouths. It's scary. Are these still human? How could it be a human being? It's clearly a monster. But I have seen super ability people before, and those super ability people are very different from ordinary humans in appearance. There is a big difference in appearance, but they are all unique. But the monsters being dragged by these two women look exactly the same. 399. Demonoids attack the Earth and become interested in Yi. Although they are just ordinary people, some of them have extraordinary observation abilities. Under such extraordinary circumstances, fortunately they still have time to gossip here. The army of demons has arrived. Are you sure you want to fight against others? Yi looked at Clark Kent on a stage and said lightly. Between Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, he originally thought that the person who made these decisions was likely to be Bruce Wayne, but he didn't expect that Clark Kent would actually do such a thing, and even do it fairly well. Even so, he felt that the problem was very big. Some things are simply avoidable. Have aliens attacked Earth? Clark Kent couldn't believe it. He had never received such news. FFLX. How could something like this happen? Yi still looked careless, but every word she said was like a knife piercing Clark Kent's heart straight. Do you really care about other people, or just want to rule the world? Otherwise, it's impossible for you not to have received any news about the demon-like man's attack. The Justice League, other forces in Gotham City, and even the leaders of the country have known the news a few days ago and have been preparing for it. Every word Yi said was light and light, seemingly without any power. But Clark Kent couldn't bear it at all. When Yi said these words, the army helped to evacuate all the people nearby. Do you know how many demon-like armies there are? Do you know whether these alien visitors are strong or not? Do you know how many people we sacrificed in just a few days? Yi said these words to Clark Kent little by little. What he said made Clark Kent no longer able to bear it. I know I'm not doing well, but everything I do is serious. Clark Kent raised his hand to cover his face. No matter what you are thinking in your heart, but the current situation, or let's work together to drive aliens off Earth. Clark Kent didn't say anything. Luthor frowned fiercely over there. Is this incident too coincidental? I always feel that something is wrong. What's wrong? Do you think that's Yi? The League of Justice, even the country and others are all here to unite aliens? For the first time, Clark Kent didn't listen to Luthor's advice. Even at this moment, he belatedly realized one thing. Since Luthor joined their team, he seemed to listen to Luthor's advice too often. Instead, thinking about his own problems became a lot less. He couldn't help but raised his hand and rubbed his forehead again. It really shouldn't be. No matter whether this matter is true or not, no matter what conspiracy is behind it, but now our entire team is here to help other forces fight against aliens. Clark Kent almost didn't give the other party any rejection, and directly said this. Even before, other people had objections to this, but now I dare not have any opinions at all. Suddenly, an attack rushed towards the ground, targeting Su-Yi and Clark Kent. As soon as they noticed the attack, they resisted almost immediately. Su-Yi just raised his hand, and the attack was directly resolved without even touching the ground. The hunky-backed, evil-looking Karabak appeared in front of everyone with a weapon in his hand. Really bad speech. When Karabak came, the first thing he said was such a sentence, which immediately distorted Clark Kent's face. Everything he does is to let others have a sense of identity with him, instead of being ridiculed and questioned over and over again. The people on Earth and Su-Yi just laughed at themselves and let it go. He really didn't want to be laughed at by an alien like that. All the people nearby were evacuated. In addition to the attack by Karabak, plus other attacks, everything in the vicinity will be destroyed so that they can't see their original appearance. Originally, I thought that the only people on this planet that I needed to take care of were the Kryptonians, but I didn't expect that there would be other discoveries. Asking for flowers. Karabak's eyes fell on Su-Yi. This man is clearly very different. He can feel infinite power from the opponent's body, but he can feel nothing. This person is a very contradictory existence. I really want to take this guy back and let his subordinates study it. Maybe this will have a great impact on his army, and even make his army stronger. You shouldn't be in this place. Clark Kent yelled at Karabak, and then threw his fist directly in Karabak's direction. He has a lot of depression in his heart, and he doesn't know whether what he is doing is right or wrong. Perhaps in the past, he felt that everything he did was right, but after experiencing such objections, he began to hesitate. The moment Clark Kent made the shot was filled with a lot of emotions. I'm going to deal with you sooner or later, but I'm more interested in that guy than you. Karabak's eyes were fixed on Su-Yi, and the more he noticed him, the more interested he was. He was really curious about this man. Karabak directly avoided Clark Kent's attack, and immediately rushed towards Su-Yi. Su-Yi narrowed his eyes slightly, and when Gwen and Wanda were about to pass by, he pushed the two of them back from the left and right. He pushes very lightly, and Wanda and Gwen also know Su-Yi's attitude, so when Su-Yi pushes, they are very cooperative. Su-Yi directly rushed in the direction of Karabak, neither dodging nor evading, even with a very relaxed expression. In Karabak's opinion, the man with a smile on his face is either very confident or intentional. There was a slight sarcasm in Karabak's expression. Although he thought Su-Yi might be interesting, in his opinion, only Clark Kent was worthy of being his opponent. However, with this shot, he was directly hit out by a force so powerful that he could not resist at all. At that moment, he felt that his previous thoughts were very naive. 400. Replace Clark and rule the Earth. Obviously it looked like a light punch without carrying any power, but when it hit him, it not only threw him far away. He could clearly feel that his whole body was affected. The internal organs seemed to have moved their positions at this moment. The pain was so painful that cold sweat oozed from his forehead uncontrollably. This guy is really powerful, extraordinarily powerful. In particular, the man in front of him looked completely unaffected. The curvature of the smile on the corner of her lips didn't change at all. In almost an instant, Karabak knew that he was not the opponent at all. If he continues to be involved in the future, he is likely to be in a state of defeat. Karabak knew very well what the purpose of appearing on the planet 327 this time was. He doesn't want to be defeated here. His enemy is Clark Kent. Originally, they wanted to deal with Su-Yi first and then deal with Clark Kent, but now they had no choice but to use the original method to deal with Clark Kent. After Su-Yi saw the other party throwing herself away, she fixed her eyes on Clark Kent again, and didn't make any other moves. Instead, it went straight back to Gwen and Wanda. Su, are you okay? Gwen and Wanda asked Su-Yi with concern. Su-Yi shook his head slightly. I'm fine, it's just a blow. He is fine, but the opponent's damage should not be small. Su-Yi smiled and looked at Karabak, who was not far away. Karabak is no match for Superman Clark Kent at all. Su-Yi is very sure about this matter, so she is not worried at all. Sure enough, under Su-Yi's calm gaze, Karabak was dragged directly by Clark Kent and smashed into the ground with a bang. The scene is completely one-sided. At first glance, this is completely abnormal. Not good. Suddenly, Wang Yin's face became very ugly. She suddenly looked at a group of demonoids falling from the sky, and the expression in her eyes became flustered. That group of aliens are really too cunning. Don't worry. Although Wanda looked very worried, Su-Yi next to her really didn't take these things seriously at all. Not only didn't take them seriously, even when she said certain words, she always kept going. They are all very calm. The bomber channel was immediately opened. There are more army of demon-like people rushing towards this direction. Clark Kent didn't expect the other party to do this, and there was a clear look of panic in his eyes. He wasn't worried about his own safety, but his companions and ordinary people who didn't have the ability to protect themselves. These people surrounded Clark Kent and his party. They turned a blind eye to Su-Yi and others. Obviously, they came with orders. Their target is Clark Kent. There are simply too many demonoid armies. If we don't help now, after they deal with Clark Kent, they will definitely focus on us immediately. Gwen spoke seriously. She didn't suggest that Su-Yi must do something. She just told Su-Yi the current situation. After all, it wasn't the first day she and Su-Yi met. She could feel that Su-Yi really didn't want to interfere in this matter at all. and she really thought that Clark Kent would succeed. But even if the other party can really succeed, many things must happen before success. On this point, she's very sure. She looked at Su-Yi without blinking her eyes. Then ... you guys do it. Su-Yi will not stop a woman from doing anything. After Su-Yi said these words, Wanda and Gwen rushed out almost immediately, with their eyes directly aimed at those demon-like people. These demon-like people look exactly the same, and their strength is also very powerful. All of them are exactly the same powerful. Just by looking at it, people can't help but feel uneasy in their hearts. Because the strength of these demon-like people is not weak, they are all equally powerful. I know a lot about many things on the earth. I know that your status on the earth is not ordinary. You are very successful, and many people admire you very much. However, you are no different from me. You are just an alien in the first place. I heard that you want to rule the entire earth. This is really a good decision, but if you implement this matter, it will definitely not work. This is not a suitable method for you. Compared with this, maybe, I'm more suitable. Yes, Karabakh came this time to compete with Clark Kent for the control of the earth. As far as Clark Kent's half-baked effort is concerned, he will definitely not be able to be a ruler. Rather than wasting such a good opportunity, it is better to give it to the most suitable person directly. When Karabakh thought of this, he couldn't help but feel that this was the best thing. Even, his brain couldn't restrain his strong fantasies in this regard. The attacks of the Demonoids are not limited to these abilities, nor are they limited to Clark Kent. Soon, the earth will all belong to us, and those weak humans will all become sacrifices, and use their flesh and blood to celebrate the victory of our army. Karabakh's behavior completely verified one thing, that is, he had the idea of destroying all living things on the earth. Are you crazy? You know what you're doing will make the planet. Before Clark Kent could finish his sentence, he was directly interrupted by Karabakh's words. 1.8 I don't care what the Earthlings have to do with me, I only have my own race in my heart and eyes. I'm not the same as you, Superman. You can destroy your own planet for the Earthlings. This kind of thing, I don't want to understand for the life of me. Many aliens now know about Clark Kent. They couldn't help mocking that the Kryptonians didn't die by other hands, but by their own hands. The matter of destroying his true clan will always be a pain in Clark's heart. However, he didn't feel that he had done anything wrong from the beginning to the end. Even if something happens again, he still doesn't feel like he's done anything wrong. In fact, it is more accurate to say that some things have happened twice. No matter which one he made the same choice. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.